Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bourbon Neophyte. I'm Anthony. So today's stream, and why you're all here is maybe some of you are Peat curious. I don't know. You might be, you might not be, but I can certainly tell you I am. And over the past few months, I've had a few different experiences with Peat that were extremely off-putting. So I'm sure some of you have had the same experience if you have ever tried a peated whiskey and said, man, there's got to be something to this because it just tastes like iodine and band-aids. Hey, Sugar Kitty, how are you? There is an actual authority on it. So glad you popped in here. But peated whiskey, wow, how can I say this? When I first tasted it, yeah, um, it just wasn't my thing. I didn't like it. Like I said, it tasted like iodine and Band-Aids. And I'll give you a quick synopsis. So I was at a liquor store down where I live called Liquor Lineup. Um, Real good bunch of people there, and they don't sponsor me in any way, shape, or form. So I want to make sure I get that little disclaimer in there. But they know me when I walk in. And funny thing, today when I walked in, so I walk into the store. Of course, as you know, everyone's got to be masked up. But I walk into the store, and of course, the people come, "Hey, can I help you?" And I said, "No." I says, "I'm thinking." And as I'm standing there, and I'm looking at the Ugadale, and I'm looking at some of the other scotches there. I see Loch Lomond and Glen Allachie and a few other things, and the guy starts talking to me, and he says, "So are you interested in scotch?" And so I started to talk, and he says, "Hey, I know you." And I looked at him and I said, "Well, you should. I come in here quite regularly." But once I started to talk, he said, "Oh yeah, you're Anthony. You're the guy that comes in here that does YouTube reviews and streams." I go, "Yeah." And he says, like, "Where's your hat?" And I laughed and I said, "Oh, I left it in the truck." So I put my hat on because everywhere I go, I usually have a hat on. So I'm like, "Hey, let me get my hat on." But anyway, so we go in there and we're talking, and we're talking about peated scotches. And of course, he brings down the, uh, or talks about the Ardbeg Pirate. And I said, that was my first experience getting back into a peated scotch, and it was absolutely horrid for me. Horrid for me. I did not like it at all. I was like, man, this is just not my thing. Not my thing at all. And anyway, I got that taste and I told him, I go, it wasn't. But I said, this miraculous thing had happened to me not too long ago. Um, I was at another liquor store and they had an expression, and I got it behind me. Whoops, forgot where I'm at. Right there. It's from High West. And it was a rye finished in peated scotch barrels. Well, I was hesitant on getting it, but I thought it cannot be like the Ardbeg Pirate. Just can't be. But I want to try it. So I got it. I tried it. And man, was it magnificent. Hey, Whiskey Eyes, how are you? Marty, cheers, man. Um, it was magnificent. I mean, magnificent. Richie Z, hey. Got some people popping in my green room. I'll get to them here in just a minute. But anyway, it was magnificent. And it got me wanting more, if that makes sense. It got me wanting more. It's like, man, this peat has something to it, or this smokiness, this flavor has something to it. But now this was a rye, it wasn't a scotch. And I'm like, So fast forward now to Friday, this past, go back into Liquor Lineup, and they had samples of Lagavulin, the Offerman Edition, the one that's finished in the Guinness. Mike, why can't I speak? Guinness casks. That's what I was trying to spit out. Guinness cask. And I was hesitant, but I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. And I did. And it was wonderful. I mean, absolutely wonderful. Top Shelf Dustin, thanks for popping in there, bud. I'm going to be with you in just a minute. Um, it was wonderful. And I stood there in a little bit of disbelief because it's not, I don't want to say it's lightly peated, and it definitely isn't heavily peated, but you got peat in there. You can smell it. And it's like, this is like, I can't believe I like it. And so, of course, I had a little bit more while I was there. And my wife says, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "I like it." Hence, I came home with it, and also came home with an Ardbeg tin and a few other goodies because it just happens. Hey, Charles, nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. Um, it's just like, wow, I really honestly just could not believe that my taste had changed as much as it did um, in those few months since my last peat experience. But it has been really an eye-opening thing. And so the other day I was just sitting there, and as I'm sipping on that Lagavulin, I was on another stream with bourbon, and I opened 6 different bottles that night, fresh cracks. But at the end, what I was drinking was the Lagavulin and, of course, a little bit of the Ardbeg. And they were so darn good. So that being said, I put together a thumbnail and said, let's talk about this. Let's get into this, and let's ask people, hey, what do you know about peat? What was your experience? Is it something that you're interested in, that you want to know more about? Well, hence bourbon neophyte, so Scotch neophyte, because it's been a long time since I really got back into the world of Scotch, that I had to reach out to some of my resources and say, I need help on my stream. So I reached out to somebody who I respect, and particularly their palate. Um, Very discerning. They know what I call left from right. They know some history, and so I asked him to join me tonight. So I'm going to bring him on so that I can basically ask some questions and talk about this a little bit, and really explore peat and how it actually complements Scotch, and brings out some more flavor and just gives it a whole nother twist. So let's see here. Where's Top Shelf? Here he is. Let me pop him in here. Hey, hey,
Hey,
happy New Year.
you too,
Nice to
buddy.
see you. I mean, really great to see you. Nice. And thank you for that short notice pop up. Oh, you got the 10 also.
I actually went out and bought this today after you sent the text. I said, you know what I don't have is a really perfect entry level peated whiskey. And I said, well, I got to fix that because honestly, I love this stuff. I just was out of it because I drank it.
Well, I
So,
haven't started on Peat just yet. I purchased this also, and I really am enjoying it right now. Is just the standard
oh, okay.
expression right here.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to tell you what, for I think it was $40. I don't think it was over that. This turned out to be a pretty good darn blind purchase. Not knowing. I mean, it is fruity.
You know, it's
Um,
it's hard to beat age stated scotch under $40. And I think those are like
well,
right at the $40 mark, usually a little under.
exactly. I mean, 35, $40. It just depends on where you go and where
Yeah.
you're at. But this tomatin has been great. I mean, and it really has some viscosity to it, especially in the finish. It's
Mhm.
oily, and I'm like, wow. I'm like,
It's a
wow.
pretty good. Well, you know what? If you're not going to start there, you know what? I saw everybody on Joe's stream the other night drinking the little Van Winkle, and I haven't
Oh
touched
yeah.
this thing in forever. So I thought, what the heck? You know what? I brought that out just in case I wanted to have a little wee nip of it because I.
This is actually, I mean, real good. And by the way, I caught your earlier uh, YouTube video on the bourbon,
Oh, the
which I thought,
400 versus
yes,
100.
I did. The very old Saint Nick.
Yeah.
So don't think I don't watch you. Don't think I don't watch you.
Well, you know what's funny is I was just telling somebody else earlier. I was like, Mike and I will put out bourbon and rye reviews every now and then, and we just get no views. I mean, like they don't get viewed, and that one's actually done really well. So I
Hey,
I
I
think
thought you and Mike did a good job on it,
I think it's a topic
particularly
is
the Remus
higher
5.
versus cheaper, you know.
Yeah.
And
And
us being us pretentious cunts, we couldn't do like 400 versus 30. We had to go with
yeah,
100.
at least $100 bottle. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And I have never tried either one, but I know, oh, Mr. Whiskey Shits is here, and I know he is a fan of Remus 5 without a doubt. Um, Ben Demon Hunter, thanks for popping in.
I was really surprised Mike picked the Saint Nick over the Remus. It's one of the fun things with the two of us is we're pretty in line when it comes to Scotch. We're not so in line with bourbon. We really have very different interests in bourbon, which I think makes our bourbon reviews sometimes more fun for us to do. Even if the whiskey isn't as good, it's just fun to kind of have the back and forth.
Yeah, well, it was. I thought it was a good uh, review. I did too, especially because I've only seen the very old Saint Nick on bottles here and there. And I'm like, hey, what the heck? Let me listen to this because
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to hear. And uh, I was quite surprised that he picked the old Saint Nick. But you know what? Taste is subjective.
And, I mean, I gotta say, the Saint Nick is really good bourbon, as is the Remus. It's just ridiculously priced, and
Yeah,
I think a lot of us, and I'm as guilty as anybody else. You put a ridiculous price tag at MSRP, and I start thinking less of it. It's just
yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's how it goes. I know Jason from Ash and Drum. He will just rant and rave about how bad something is. And then you actually ask him, "How was it actually? Like, is it good?" He's like, "Well, yeah, but I mean, it's this much money."
Yeah, it might be good, but you know what? Like you were just saying, is it really worth that $400 for that? No. I think you said 80, $100 somewhere in there. I can't remember, but I think it was 80 is what you would feel it would be really, excuse me, really worth.
Yeah,
But you're just not going to get that because there's a lot of taters after it.
yeah. I mean, even in today's market, I mean, 150 would be overpriced, but sure, whatever. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing you ever did.
No, no. But getting back to my Tomatin, I'm just impressed with that. I mean, it still has a good mouthfeel, and I've stopped sipping on it because there's really none left in my glass. I know you poured a little bit, so twist my arm. I'm going to pour just a drop more into mine while we get into this.
Cornwallis Van Winkle. So, I was noticing like people were, getting some of these recently. And it kind of, if you don't mind me giving a quick little bourbon rant here for
Go
everybody,
right ahead.
about 2 minutes here, shouldn't be too long. I don't want to get in the way of the Peat discussion, but I noticed, a lot of people had gotten these, and it kind of reminded me that the demand is crazy for these Van Winkles, but the reality is, we're not talking Pappy, we're talking just the regular, the 12 and the 10. They actually make a lot of them. So when if you really want one, they're out there and they're available. The thing is, the advice you've gotten from every whiskey tuber on how to get hard allocated bourbon is
Mm-hmm.
completely wrong when it comes to getting those two bottles.
Hmm.
If you want those two bottles, you need to go to the biggest stores that you have access to, and as many of them as you can, and see if they've got lotteries. It's not one of those bourbons you're going to get from making relationships and all that other stuff, because even those guys are normally going to try to get their money worth out of these things because they sell for just
Oh yeah.
crazy money. And I've even told some of the shops that I go to that do sort of like fair secondary. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
just charge whatever you can get for those things. I don't want them. I'm not even going to ask you for them. I'm like, just get your money. But if you've got like a big box store or some of those around you, go there. Most of them do lotteries, and that's who Buffalo Trace wants to get the bottles. So go and sign up for 10, 20, 30 different lotteries, and you'll probably, by the end of the year, get lucky, and maybe one of those stores will get you a 10 or a 12.
See, we don't have lotteries like that in Vegas. However, I hate to say it helps to frequent certain stores, but it just does.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they just don't bring the case or two that they might have gotten out. But if you pop in there, it's like, hey, are you interested in blah? Yes. Okay. And next thing you know, it's in your hand. Um, they will put, and when I say will put, they'll put a couple out on the shelf for just whoever comes in to get it. But unfortunately, some of that stuff is so allocated that if they put it all out on the shelf and didn't say, no, only one, somebody, I'm just going to say like me or you, comes in who knows what it is. If it's MSRP and it's at a good price and you know it's hard, you're going to leave with at least two, if not three. You know what I'm saying? You're going to
Oh,
drink one, have one. Exactly. And so that's what happens. So a lot of the places will put that on there and say, yeah, no, we're only going to allow one. So
yeah. And again, I mean, every state's different. Here in Ohio, what I just told everybody doesn't work. I have to go to Kentucky where it'll work. And, like I know Bourbon was saying up in New York, it's all small family shops. They only allow one liquor license per person. So you can't have
yeah.
the big chains. So it's not going to work there. Maybe you can go to New Jersey or something, But if you're in a place where there's a lot of big box shops that you don't shop at much, it doesn't matter. Just go and see if they got a lottery. Because apparently Buffalo Trace wants everybody to do lotteries, and they want it to be just anybody who shows up. So
yeah. And that's just unfortunate. That's just one of the things that's happening in the whiskey industry, let's just say, because people are just really starting to enjoy the spirit, and they're all looking. And I hate to say that maybe once I start talking about the Lagavulin and when we get into this Offerman edition, it's not going to be there. But you know what? It's also a limited release. It's not going to be, I hate to say this, but it's not going to be around for long.
they're gone here. I couldn't get one right now if I wanted one.
Well,
not locally. So
yeah, you'd have to go elsewhere and get it. Yeah.
I mean, but it was kind of funny. It's just I noticed a lot of people had the Van Winkle stuff, and I'm like, you know what? The stuff you were just talking about, hey, you go be a regular at a store. The one bourbon that really doesn't get you that usually is those two Van Winkles that you can get if you go to those big boxes, if you have them, and you're lucky enough to have that.
Man, this Tomatin just is really hitting it. But anyway.
Yeah, I saw a couple people in the chat mention the 18 is another good one. I think Ben Demon
Ben Demon Hunter. He says he prefers the 18 over the 12, which, both are good. But he said if you're going to have your druthers, find the 18. He feels it's a much superior drink.
Yeah, it's funny. So actually, I got a bottle of that back in during the 2016 election. A friend of mine and I had a wager on the primaries, and the bet was, I don't want to get into the politics of it, but basically I said, well, if this candidate wins, I think this candidate's going to win this primary, and he thought someone else would win. And so he was like, all right, fine. And I was like, you know what? Let's put an 18-year-old bottle of whiskey on the table. And so I won. And so we had to do that. And he said, want to do double or nothing for the election, the general election. And I said, why don't we up the ante? Let's do a 21-year-old for the general election. And I lost. So I got him a 21-year-old independent bottling of Gordon and MacPhail that I can't remember too much about, but it was pretty darn good. And he got me the 18-year-old Tomatin, which was pretty darn good. And then we got together and we had a night of drinking with a couple of good friends. It was a great night. And it's funny. It was one of those events where politics were involved and neither of us really cared. It was really just, I think the numbers say this. I think this is what's going to happen. We really had, it was the only election I've ever watched where I was like, kind of got money on the line.
Well, I finished up that pour. I think we need to move on to a little peat now and go from there.
I'll tell you what, Lot B is not an amazing bourbon by any stretch, but I love 12-year-old whiskey bourbons. I love age. I think that's probably why you're enjoying that's Maggie so much.
Thanks for popping in, Rob. Hope everything's going as well as can be down in your end of the world. Thinking about you, buddy.
Right. So where do you want to start with the peat topic?
So let's talk about peat.
Okay.
Let's just get into peat. You know, maybe people on here don't know exactly what peat is. They think it might be wood chips. Well, it isn't. It's actually, for lack of a better term, it is like peat moss, like a moss that grows in Scotland, and they actually harvest it in chunks and dry it, and then they actually burn it underneath the grain. And just like you would put a pork butt or a brisket in a smoker, they smoke the grain to infuse it with the peat flavor. And now, from this is just me, all peat isn't the same. Just because it's in Scotland, different regions, it all has different flavors. So, like you're just using as an example, like hickory is different than cherry wood. So, peat is different depending upon where it comes from,
Mm-hmm.
on its flavor or its intensity or strength. Like I said, I don't know all about it. I'm just going down this road and getting into peat. Um, but I right now think so far it's pretty darn good. And I think that it is definitely an avenue worth spending a little bit of time on, and having a dram or two and discussing this and peat in what an experience it can be. And yes, a lot of people that have done it, I feel, went either too high, or let me just say too low, to where it wasn't a balanced pour. It wasn't a balanced whiskey between the whiskey and the peat level. And I think you need to be able to discern that, and also know a shop that you can go to or have resources like I have you, Scotch Down Under, Greg's. There's so many people, and I know I could name more, but I just don't want to throw them under the bus or anything like that. But that I have the resources that I can just say, hey, what about this or what about that, either in a text, a chat, or a phone call for 5 minutes, and just turn the phone around and say, look at this, what do you think? And then boom, here you go. So let's just talk about peat and Scotch. And since I'm so dear to it, let's just talk about something,
Okay.
a brand that everybody knows, and I just happen to have it right here in my hand.
I don't have mine anywhere near me, so I'll have
That's
to.
okay. You don't have to.
I'd known you had it, I would have grabbed that one. But yeah, I mean that's a Lagavulin is a really interesting peat. It's also an interesting malt. It's like up front. It is, as Mike often refers to it, it is the aristocratic malt of Islay. It is more sophisticated, more depth, more nuanced than most other malts are from there. It's not just the peat, and it's a very balanced peat. And I think so. Like when I first got into Scotch, one of the things I picked up on right away was that older Scotches had smoke on them.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it also has smoke on it.
Yeah.
This Van Winkle 12, because 12 years of aging, we know this is a super low, ABV bourbon. So that color, well, it's got oak smoke on it, a little bit of barrel smoke that comes with age. And so the first, whiskey that got me to really understand what peat was actually this Ardbeg, even though I'd already had that the Lagavulin 16, which is amazing. I
Mm-hmm.
I just knew like Lagavulin 16 just had something different. I couldn't like being new to whiskey. I didn't know what I was drinking. Really, it was just like that's different.
Well, I looked for the Lagavulin 16 today.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. It's popular. They said that is one of their more popular expressions. And they said once you've tried, let's just say they said this one, which one they know it's one I got, they go,
Mhm.
you'll jump right to that, and boom, it's going to be like one of your staples. And he
Yeah.
goes, it is a standard expression from them. It's it's made all the time. It's available. He says it's just a good drop. It's dark, it's rich, it's smoky, it
Hmm.
has great flavor, and it's like, well, don't tell me about it if I can't get it.
I'm sure they'll get some bottles in soon, though.
Yeah.
It's one that they sell a lot of that one for a reason.
Hmm. Yeah. But I poured mine about, let's see, where are we at now? Almost about 30 minutes ago. Capped it just to give it a chance to open up. But just swirling it as I watch this thing, and it is just beautiful liquid in this glass. I mean, the color is just wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Unfortunately,
honestly,
it is probably colored.
this one is not colored to my knowledge. And I'm glad you said that, because let me just look at something here.
Does it actually
Let
say?
me,
That'd be impressive if it does.
so, of course, it's made by Diageo. We all know that. It's ex-bourbon and rejuvenated bourbon casks, so they kind of use it. But also, they bring Guinness casks from Maryland, send them over to Scotland, and it sits in a barrel for about 4 months to give it some chocolate, to give it that coffee and a hint of vanilla on it,
Hmm.
which the more I drink of it now, the more I'm able to discern different notes, where before it was just sweet and almost like a pear to me uh, when I was drinking it.
Hmm.
And now I'm on probably my fourth or fifth pour of it, not just today, but since Friday. And the smoke is there, or the peat is there, but now I'm noticing more flavors, more of what you're supposed to get out of that. And I think it's so far really, really good.
It's a very complex whiskey for the age and the ABV that they put it at. It's got, I think you nailed it with the coffee note. That's the chocolate, and the way it transitions to that kind of like beer, like, and I want to say like an amber ale, kind of like sweet malty finish, is really cool. I was very impressed with that particular bottle for what it is.
Well, you know, I never watched Parks and Recreation.
Oh, you missed out. That's a good show.
Yeah, well, I can always see reruns, but I just didn't. I've never been a big TV show like, oh yeah, sitcom, sit and watch them. One, because of my work schedule. So, because of I worked in the casinos for 20 plus years, uh, I had odd schedules, and then I had to be up at the butt crack of dawn. So, come 8, 9 o'clock at night, hey, I'm showered and I'm in bed, and then I'm back up 3:34 in the morning, getting ready to head out the door. So I wasn't much into watching those things. I mean, I could always DVR them or something like that, and watch. But I just like, the reruns will be on. Well, now with the other streaming television things, is you can watch all kinds of programs like that.
Parks
But
and Rec is a perfect thing for streaming. It's just a fun show you throw on in the background while you're doing other stuff. It's great for that.
but I just wandered into the shop, like I said, and they poured me some of this, and that just set the hook over the last 72 hours, as far as what happened. Why has my palate changed so much in a few months, when the last encounter I had with that, I wanted to drag my tongue across that floor to get rid of the taste. And 20 minutes, half hour later, I still had a horrid taste of iodine and band-aids in my mouth from the Ardbeg Pirate.
Like, I'll be honest,
So,
I was not a big pirate fan, so
yeah, but
I don't think my reasoning for disliking it are quite the same as yours. But I don't know if that was a.
no. Now, see, I just pulled the top off of that Offerman Edition, and man, the nice smokiness, the peat smell is just great. But now I can smell some sweetness, and I can smell almost what it appears to be like an apple, a little citrus, maybe pear. But I'm not sure. I'm still trying to discern all the notes. But I'm getting a little apple, but that smell of the peat is just, it's making me salivate. It's like mouth watering. I just don't know how else to say it. It's just turned out to be a really good drop. This is, and the viscosity in this is, it's good. It's, how do I say this? It is refreshing. It's light, but yet it has flavor. It has taste beyond just the smoke.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think when you get into Lagavulin, I always say it's the malt that really makes the Lagavulin. The peat is an aspect of it, but the malt is what really makes that a great whiskey. And I think that's what Lagavulin does so well, is that they aren't trying to beat you up with peat. They really
No.
want you to get the sweet, creamy, quote unquote, as Mike says, aristocratic malt. Because and you're gonna get that sort of savory pork butt. You're gonna get some of that, like, pineapple glazed ham type things going on there, but you get just so much of just that really rich sweetness. I always get a little bit of and this is something Mike actually pointed out to me, was a little bit of peach on the nose and on the palate, and it's throughout the entire Lagavulin line. It's there. It doesn't always come out right away, but it's there.
And like I said, I'm just enjoying this right now, and I'm listening to you, but the finish on this is nice, and I'm still getting on this is like, and I don't know how to explain it, but other than a little bit of rye spice, and I think it's probably comes from the bourbon barrel that they used in that, and I'm like, man, I don't know where that comes from, but it's nice. It's not overpowering. It's not something that makes you go, oh my gosh. It just kind of comes in on the back end of it,
Okay.
for me. And the only, like I said, I haven't had any bourbon at all today. I have just been Scotch, non-peated, working myself to this. And then the end pour for me is going to be this one.
Oh,
The
cool.
Yeah.
Peated.
And this is the one finished in the bourbon, or excuse me, the peated Scotch. And I am told that when you are on peated Scotch and you go to a rye that's peated, the sweetness is just wonderful. So we shall find out.
We actually had one of those locally that showed up. I was debating it, but I'll hear what your thoughts are on it. Maybe I'll go back and pick it up.
Sorry, Dave. How are you, sir? Glad to see you pop in there. So I was just in sheer bliss with some of this right now because it's just so good. But so let's talk about peat, okay, in Lagavulin. There are different, let's just say, levels of peat. From what I would say, this isn't light peat, but it's not what I would call a medium peated. Okay. I don't think, I think the Ardbeg 10 is just a little heavier in peat than this, because when I had it the other night, it seemed to be a little stronger. But it all could just be in the type of peat they used. So that being said,
it's an interesting one.
But let's just say you have light peat, you have medium peat, and then of course you have your heavily peated scotches. Okay. And I would say this is between light and medium, because to me, I love that smokiness I'm still getting on this finish. This finish just doesn't go away on this Lagavulin.
No, it's got a long.
It's a nice finish. It is for lack of better, it's creamy. It's got a little oil to it, although the Tomatin I had was much oilier, and this was the non-peated, much oilier finish, which I was really surprised and totally enjoyed the mouthfeel.
Mine might be non-chill filtered. I think that one is chill filtered, so that could be part of it.
I don't know. I'm going to have to get into it. Hey, Doug, thanks for coming. Lagavulin 16 and Ardbeg. Well, I can't find the Lagavulin 16, but that is going to be something I'm going to look for. You never know. sometimes samples get hand delivered. Things happen that way. But um,
What did you
anyway,
pay for the Offerman?
the Offerman here is 89, if I do believe. I
Oh,
think it retails for about $75, $80. So I think mine was 89.
oh, it's a
So
great
it's a
price.
good price. Everywhere else, I'm seeing it at 125, $200.
Yeah, we got
And
it.
this is it,
Retail
like,
here was over 100, so
yeah,
it wasn't even an option.
exactly.
So yeah, it's a good
So
price.
it is.
You should get the 16 for a good price then too.
16 is about a buck and a quarter.
Oh, that's a little high.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
I've
but depends
seen
on
more.
where you go. It just, like I said, just depends. But again, that one's come out. So how I got this one is they bought it before it became a Scotch of the Year. One of those that got, ooh, hey, this got Scotch of the Year. And it did for 2021.
I did win some awards. You're right.
Yeah. So, but they bought it before that even came out, and he got it at a good price. So, anyway, you just sometimes it's luck. You're in the right place at the right time. The tide was high, the moon was full, the stars were in alignment. It was New Year's Eve when I walked into liquor lineup, and boom, I was like, oh my God, it's like deliciousness in the glass. So it's just really, really good. And I do have the Ardbeg 10. So once I take a few more swigs of this, I will get into the Ardbeg 10. But I just really want to get into this. This drop was the one that made my jaw drop, that made me go, holy smokes, this is just fantastic.
And I will say though, I mean, technically Lagavulin is considered heavily peated, just FYI.
I don't consider this because the only thing I have to base it on was the Ardbeg Pirate, and that just was absolutely horrid to me.
Keep in mind that was finished in rye casks. So they actually used rye barrels from the U.S. instead of bourbon. So it may have actually imparted some rye spice with the peat that maybe didn't agree with you.
Maybe, I don't know. But what kind of caused me to raise an eyebrow was about a month after that, they were doing a function at Liquor Line up here on a Saturday, and they brought Ardbeg in. So they had their Ardbeg monster truck or whatever they call it, and they had different expressions there. And so I talked to the people from there, and I told them what happened. And I go, basically, you can take that and put a light coat of oil on that bottle and stick it somewhere where the sun don't shine. I was pretty adamant about it. I just didn't like it. And he said, well, let me just explain to you. You went the wrong way with the products. So he poured me a wee beastie. What is that? 5-year-old, 6-year-old?
5-year-old, yeah.
Okay. And I sipped it, but I instantly got sweetness before the smoke. Then, of course, the smoke, but then the sweetness come right back. And it was an enjoyable pour on the wee beastie. And I was like, huh. And he goes, so if you think this is good, he says, go to the 10. He said, and then build around these and go to other expressions. He said, if you want to start your journey. And that's what he said. And well, I can't argue with that because it
worked for you.
It worked, but I didn't do that for months. The High West rye finished in peated bourbon barrels was my next step. And I was like, wow, it had more of the peat than I expected it to have from getting it from those barrels. And then, so again, like I said, I was in there and then bam, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really, really good. And so hence I had to do the stream. Hence I reached out to you because I need someone to guide me on this journey. And I've talked to Greg's Whiskey Guide, Whiskey Lovers Society, of course, Scotch Down Under. I have had many different conversations about different spirits and particularly scotches throughout the last few months.
Hmm.
And it's just been, I don't know about the peat, but then all of a sudden, how our tastes develop and change, it's been like, holy smokes.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of that's always a fun thing, and I think one of the challenges with trying to bring a bourbon drinker into Scotch is you'll find that they don't like certain things, they do like certain things, but then you're in this like constant problem of like bourbon is this narrow range, man. Like we spend so much time talking about how different Four Roses is from Buffalo Trace, but I mean, my God, they're similar when you really think of whiskey as a whole. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, compare them to a rye or a light whiskey, and those are just so different. And then once you start getting into finishing and other stuff, so the problem that you run into with even when you say peated Scotch, I mean, you've talked about pretty much nothing but stuff from the island of Isla. There's peated
Well,
Scotch
there's many more, correct.
from elsewhere that use, as you noted and stated earlier, have a different type of peat. It's a big, big, big market. Lots of stuff, and it takes a long time to try it all.
Oh, there's, I'm laughing because you're right. And, I've got other things on this shelf, and my wife's doing something in the other room. So I just moved to my little room and set up my stream. And so if I want something, I can just pretty much, I've got almost my entire repertoire of goodies behind me. And there's some in the other room because we all have rooms with different stashes in it because we don't want to keep walking back to the main supply. We keep our, yeah, exactly. You're laughing
Exactly.
because you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I've got bottles like sitting. Like the only reason I even have whiskey by me where I'm at right now is because I just have bottles on the floor because
Yes.
I was drinking them in the
Yes.
last couple of. And it's like
Yes.
one of those things I think like I should go put this back, and I'm like, well, that's an expensive one, so yes, I'll put that back. That's not an expensive one. I'm just leaving it there. I'll drink it. I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah.
I got a
But
big desk right here. I got a big area under the desk. I'm not gonna trip on the bottles. They don't look like I'm
they're
living in a
not bothering
mess.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna leave
But
them here.
but this Lagavulin right now is really good. But Sugar Kitty made a comment. He says, the tomato is non-chill filtered, but the Offerman edition Lagavulin is. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was looking at the tomato and I almost said tomato and I was like, no, stop.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure that was the case. It's one of the unfortunate things I get with the the American releases of Lagavulin is that they're all chill filtered, with the exception of the 12, and it doesn't help the whiskey. That's all I can say is it's not helping.
it just really it for my this is my opinion. It just clarifies it some more. It gets rid of some of the fatty acids, so it's just a clearer expression. And
Yeah,
then
you don't
temperature
get as much.
fluctuations do not cause it to cloud.
Yeah, but you don't get
Which
the
means
oily finish on the mouth feel the same too. Like it doesn't cloud, but it also means you just don't get that same oiliness, and it just
and
doesn't quite as
exactly. And I love that. So that's probably why when I took that sip of the tomato, I'm like, oh my gosh, this finish is exquisite. It's exquisite. It's wonderful. It's
Mhm.
fruity. It's fresh. And the viscosity is just amazing on that. Amazing. So the Lagavulin right now is just, I mean, the finish is still going. It's just going
Mhm.
and going and going. It's not quitting. It for me, the $90, this is man. uh, if I knew where their second bottle was, I'd buy it now. I would
I bet
because
you'll probably be able to find one for under 150 for sure. If you look,
well,
they're out there.
this is not going to make it. This is going to be this is going to go. And
It's a
I mean,
depressingly easy whiskey to just drink
it is. It is. It is. It is.
because
Um,
mine's honestly only got about that much left, and I don't even remember really. I don't remember going at it hard. It's just one of those whiskeys that
you
you
have
know.
one or two here. You have
Well, I
one or
mean,
two there,
well,
and
I consider this about a normal pour
yes.
whiskey, right? But
Well,
that's
I
that
poured
that
a
log
normal
that,
pour.
that Lagavulin,
Yeah.
man. I'll pour it up to like here every time, just because it was like one of those whiskeys, like wasn't super expensive. It's really tasty, and I just like going
Well,
back. You just kind of
this
overpour it.
Lagavulin right now, like I said, is just hitting the spot, but it's a good sipper. And that's what Lagavulin is known for. I've talked to other people about it, and one of the things they said, it is a great sipping scotch. Great sipping scotch.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I think when you get into like, well, again, sipping and drinking are different. I think of like the Lagavulin 16, the Distiller's Edition, and that one is drinking scotches. In other words, you can sip it. You can sit there and enjoy one for an hour, or you can just sit back and drink 4 of them in 40 minutes at a bar if you were so inclined. You
I
know, they're
just saw that one, and I forget the price. I just saw that the Distiller's Edition 2021.
oh cool.
Yep, yep. I
Those
just
I have seen a very wide range of prices on those.
Oh, you can go from left side of the field all the way to the right side. I mean, amazing how some of these prices go, particularly on this Lagavulin, the Offerman Edition. You know, I
Lagavulin
can
in
find it
general,
for
and I think
under 100, but then I find it for $200, 250, 199. You know, I mean, it's all over the place.
yeah,
All over.
at one point here in the Ohio Kentucky area, I was seeing these things between like 80 and 130. And it was just based on when they got the last bottles in, and then they've come back down, so the 130s are gone now. And then I'll see people posting, Costco prices in Wisconsin for like $55, and I'm like, oh my god, you're getting Lagavulin 16 for 55?
I'd be buying two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
I
no
mean,
doubt.
at that price, I mean, honestly, that I don't go back to the Lagavulin 16 too often because it's kind of pricey for what it is in today's market. But man, if you can get it for like 55, I mean, geez.
You have to buy it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you have to buy it. It's just one of those that you go, yeah, I've got to buy it.
now you want a funny story about Lagavulin 16? So this is
Sure.
this is about 4 years ago, and so I'm at Thanksgiving dinner with my family, which I no longer really attend those that often. I kind of pick and choose when I want to see that many people in my family. But this year, it was like the first year my mom was doing it at her new house, and so I was there, and she's all excited, and she's got the turkey, and I said, you know what, I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna get some. Yeah, exactly, Charles, get a case. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do like whiskey with the dinner. I'm thinking to myself, turkey is gonna go great with peated scotch. It's gonna be delicious. So I pour myself a nice, Lagavulin 16, set it down, get a glass of water, and we start dinner. And my mom all of a sudden starts going, and she's like walking around, and she's got this look on her face like something's wrong. And she's like, "Hey, everybody, stop! Anybody smell that?" And she's sitting there going, "I think there's like an electrical fire or something." And took me about 20 seconds after she said that for me to finally go, oh, and then I just held up my glasses. Mom, is that it? And I'm like, go, smell this. And she goes, what in God's name are you drinking?
Did you tell her deliciousness in a glass, Mom?
I was like, this is absolute heaven. It's the perfect thing to go with turkey. And she's like, all right, fine. And she does this. She goes, all right, fine. And she tastes it. Oh God, what is that?
That's pretty much what I did with the Arbeck. the pirate, yeah, that's pretty much was me.
Yeah, and so it was funny. My mom drinks whiskey. She likes bourbon. I've given her rye. She knows her stuff there, and she even likes a lot of the non-peated scotches. But boy, oh boy, was that not for her.
Well, again, that's what I was saying. Some people are going to like it. Some people are not going to like it. And at first, when I went to it, that was it. You couldn't have got me to lift up another glass of peated scotch after the pirate. No, but I went and got everything's backwards. When I went and picked up the High West that was finished in the ex-peated Scotch barrels, and it had that peat in there, and I tasted that. Then all of a sudden I was like, wow. And I was craving that taste. It was like, man, that's just good.
Mhm.
And it's been a minute since I picked up that Offerman, and it's still going to finish. I know I've said it a couple of times, but it's still going. It is great. Hey, Slapshot, thanks for popping in, man. Great to
They
see you here.
they really did well with those Guinness casks they used there. I know some people thought that was going to be a gimmick, but they really got something nice out of that.
That was nice. Well,
It
I
added a
guess,
little bit of that chocolate, and it just helped the finish kind of just linger on longer than you expected. It really did well.
well, it did. And I guess Nick Offerman and them have been working for a few years on it, and then they came out with this stuff in like 19 or 20. I can't remember. I read about it just this morning or last night when I was thinking about stuff for this stream, and I was like, ooh, man, that's interesting, because like I said, I've never watched Parks and Recreation, so I did not know about the connection or who or what this Offerman edition was about. And so I looked it up, and I was like, oh, interesting story. So
At Parks and Rec is why I bought my first Lagavulin 16. So, and there you have it. I mean, I'm willing to bet more. There's probably been no TV show more responsible for selling people on a specific Scotch ever
oh
than
yeah,
Parks and Rec.
oh
I
yeah,
mean, you know,
that's exactly what I read about it. It's just, I was like, wow,
yeah.
this
Now, mind you,
Lagavulin.
if you think you get in trouble drinking on some of these streams where we have the bar formats, and many of us have probably overindulged once or twice on one of them.
No, 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 no,
No, never.
no, 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 no.
But if you ever want to truly get yourself in real trouble, drink it while watching Mad Men. You will be in a world of hurt the next morning, because let me tell you, you're just like, oh, hey, everybody's drinking, let's drink, and you just keep drinking with the show, and you realize by the end of it, oh my
Oh
god,
my gosh.
those people were alcoholics and they were impressive. And then the scary part is you hear from your parents or older generations, that's how it used to be everywhere. That was actually how we lived.
Thank you, Ben. You know it, not me. I am always restrained. I may close my eyes for a minute, but it has nothing to do with the alcohol. Nothing.
Anthony's never been on one of the after parties that till the wee
No.
hours of the morning.
No, 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 no. Not recently. Let me just say, because of my work schedule. Not recently.
You've definitely
You're
been
right.
working a lot lately, buddy.
Well,
That's going well for you.
it is, new job. I don't got a choice. I still got 3 months left on probation type thing. It's 6 months. So it is what it is, but it's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I've always found that there's two types of overworking. There's the type of overworking that I deal with sometimes where I just feel like I always need to be connected, but I'm not really working. And that sucks. That ruins your day, ruins your night. It's just not fun. And then there's just the I'm working and I'm getting stuff done and I'm busy and I'm just going to be here for 12 hours. And man, I love that kind of work. Like that's the kind of overworking that's fun. Because you're just, it feels like time's just flying. It's not a big deal. And when you're done, you feel good. Exactly. Yeah.
Of course, it was in the office everywhere.
So my grandfather, my mom's dad, was a judge back in the good old
Lilith, thanks for popping on. And oh yeah, happy Monday to you, but it's still Sunday for us.
It was not unusual for the sheriff to bring him home.
Well,
or one of his deputies. Like literally, he'd get done with his day in court, and instead of driving himself home, he'd have a deputy give him a ride. Or actually the sheriff himself. Very different times.
Man, this Lagavulin is just fabulous. The sweetness is just, and like I said, now, yeah, I know the peat's there, but I don't even think about it.
And that's really, I mean, that particular Lagavulin is special. I mean, Lagavulin is a sweet, sweet, sweet distillery in terms of Southern Iowa. They're on the sweet side. But that particular one is extra sweet. Um, and it really, I mean, it's a showcase of the Lagavulin malt where they've added freaking beer to it. I mean, they added beer to it. What else you gonna say?
Oh, I'm just gonna pour myself another little drop of this because it's just too darn good to pass up.
Ooh, you know what? I'm gonna join you with a little pour of that. Give me
Go
a
ahead.
second here.
And I'm going to save some so I can compare it with since I wasn't going to, the Arbeg 10. Oh, there it is. So Sugar Kitty, David, Ben, what's in your glasses, people? Let me know. What do you got inside them glasses?
By the way, isn't this the worst freaking box you've ever touched?
Well, yeah, it used to come in like a wooden box, right?
No, it came in like a really, really, really thick, like double cardboard box.
Yeah. Almost like, well, let me just say this. This box here is much sturdier than
the
Lagavulin.
So the Lagavulin 12 year used to come in a box that made this thing seem like paper.
Yeah.
It was like double lined, super thick.
The Tomaten box is much more sturdier than that. And it's like, what
This
the heck?
This feels like you're literally like it's folded cardboard paper with like maybe a toothpick or something holding it. It's ridiculous. And yeah, like I said, mine's pretty much down to the end. But
rock oyster. Never heard of it.
I believe that's a Douglas Lane, who's kind of like Compass Box. They source whiskey and they blend it.
Huh. Hey, believe me, back then they had no problem giving kids whiskey to cure teething problems, a cough, whatever, and they lived to tell about it.
Yeah, I feel like we've
Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C921.
Ooh. I haven't seen that around me yet.
When I first tasted that, David, I was like, it doesn't compare to my B521. It's just not. Of course, yes, it's higher proof, but I was like, but now that I have had, probably 4 or 5 pours out of it, then let it sit in the bottle, opened up, I went back to it. I don't know if it was New Year's Eve or just before, but anyway, I was like, ooh, that's pretty darn good now that it had a chance to sit and open up a bit.
This thing's actually awful sour today. Give it a second.
What?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is on the nose. I mean, this has a nice color. Nice color to it. Now, if I remember, let me just see. This is the Arbeg 10, and it's a lot lighter in color than the Lagavulin.
Yeah, well, as I said, though, the Ardbeg expressly states non-chill filtered and non-colored on it.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, the non-chill filtered, maybe they don't say non-colored. I'm almost positive it is non-colored, though.
Sugar Kitty's listening. Ardbeg 10, colored or not? Do they add coloring to it?
I would literally be shocked to hear that.
Maybe Ben Demon Hunter knows.
Somebody who speaks German, go check out a German label. I know they have to tell you on those.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's the nice thing about the problem with Offerman is it's not sold in Germany, so who knows?
Ooh, sorry about that, bud. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. Drink the water and stay healthy. Take care of you. That's the first thing I'll always say is take care of you, brother.
Oh man, Slapshot, dude. I just saw you on was it last night on one of the streams, man. Hope you're feeling better, buddy. Soon.
Oh, okay. We'll have to look into that a little more. It's non-chill filtered, the Ardbeg, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Ardbeg, says right on the label.
Yeah.
There's no hiding it, like right up.
No color added to it. So
non-chill filtered, right there.
Okay.
They don't say
I'm
no.
not looking at the bottle right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, I love it when distilleries. I mean, look how nice that looks. Like
It
they
does.
make sure you know.
Right up front, no holds
Right there.
barred. There it is.
Yeah,
The way it came out is the way you're going to get it.
as it should be.
Ooh. Now he's got some things up there. That Highland Park I was looking at, I think it was the 12. Ugh, I don't remember now, but 12 just comes to mind. Without a doubt. Let me have another little sip of the Lagavulin here. And but ooh, yeah. I mean, this is one that if you had somebody coming over that liked Scotch and liked Peat, this is a good one to share. I mean, honestly, it's a good one to share. I wouldn't have a problem in bringing that out and giving it a shot with some people.
It's coming off today for me, and again, this is just every day. You know, your palate's different.
Yeah.
Today, right now, for me, very acidic. Pete's there.
Might have been the onions you had today.
Didn't have any of those. I had a little bit of frozen pizza before this to make sure my stomach wasn't empty. I don't want to get slammered on here and start screaming and yelling over.
No. On Bourbon Neophyte, no schlammering.
This is not
respectable.
This is not a pub.
Right. This is not Livewire now. We can't compete with that level.
Yeah, this was Livewire. I'd have been chugging this.
You'd had no choice. That's right. Mr. Whiskey would have just said, "That's it. You got to go."
Yeah, like right. Adam would just be like, "Dude, quit being a pussy. That lot B needs to die. Kill it now." I don't care that those are $1,000 bottles. You could probably sell that last little bit for $80 for $150. Just chug it.
That's it. See, that's exactly what I was going to say. So if it was the Highland Park 12, and I just saw your comment, Ben, I said it's not terrible, not good, it's decent, but for the money, get something else. I hate to say that, but that's what I was told because I was just thinking about that again, and then I saw your comment.
I'm such a big fan of what Highland Park can do when they do things right, but they have been pushing out product with lower quality, with worse casks and higher prices, and it's frustrating.
Okay. Well, see, I wouldn't know this, Sugar Key, so I'm glad you put that up there. You know, I'm more looking for the peat than non-peated right now. However, I'm definitely going to have to get some more of this tomatin because I have a feeling that it's definitely going to drop. But if I can pick up another bottle of this Lagavulin, I'm going to have to really start beating the bushes here for under $100. I'm going to have to pick another one up so I can go ahead and you know, when you know you have a backup and you do drink, you drink through this bottle. How do I say this? You don't feel as guilty because even though you might not touch that second bottle for a month or 6 months or a year, you just know you look at his empty bottle right there.
Do you think there's any chance in hell this would be empty if I didn't have a backup? Because it would have taken me 30 years.
Yeah.
The 30-year Highland Park has gotten so expensive now. I'll never own another bottle, unfortunately. I mean, I think I saw they're now $1,400 by me. This is not that good.
No,
$500 I paid for this all day. Amazing, such an amazing, life-changing whiskey. It's that good, but $1,400 better. You know, I don't know what you got.
Like that $400 bourbon. It's just not.
Yeah. I've always said,
hey,
I definitely think
Morgan.
It's worth paying premiums to get better scotches over versus bourbon. But even with scotch, I mean, after $500, man, it gets stupid fast. For bourbon,
how's everything across the pond there, Mr. Morgan?
It's about midnight over there.
Yeah. Okay. So it has its place. That's exactly it. The Highland Park 12 has its place for someone that's cutting their teeth. And I'm going to say I'm perfect at it, but I've cut my teeth 30 years ago on it, and I've got some stories that I probably don't even want to tell about Scotch. And but anyway,
Yeah.
we've all been down that road more than twice. But
Yeah, if you're going to spend the money, I mean, honestly, I mean, I hate the prices have gone up so much. It's tough to still recommend it. But the Highland Park 18 is really, as 43% whiskeys go, it's the perfect Scotch whiskey.
and see, I like what Sugar Kitty just said about Kilchoman, and for some reason, and it's just me, but I'm able to get the notes out of this Lagavulin, and look, he's got Kilchoman right there. So that's what I want. I like the smoke, but
Mhm.
I also want to taste the fruit. I want to taste what this expression is like, not just the smoke in there. And that's what I like about the Lagavulin Offerman Edition right now. It's really, really good to me. I can get that taste out of it.
This is so much amber ale on the Lagavulin. Like I feel like I'm going back to my beer drinking days on the finish initially. And the
Well,
smoke,
and that's what I'm hoping now to start to pull out is some of the chocolate and the coffee out of there. The more I have, the more my palate opens up to the peat and the different flavors in there. That
yeah,
it's really
the finish has got a lot of coffee grinds on it for sure.
and you know what? As we talk about it, not because you're putting it in my head, but I'm thinking about the flavor that I'm getting. And when people talk about coffee, I'm like, could that be like what coffee grounds smell like? Yes, yes. You know, I'm putting that. Trying to put all of that together, and
Well,
so it's like,
and I mean, I'm not a coffee nerd by any stretch, but a few years ago I was in Hawaii for a friend's wedding, which is the only reason I went. I would never spend that kind of money for a vacation personally. Vacations are not where I spend my money. I spend it all on whiskey.
hey, grab that Lafroy. If that's
But
what you got, grab it.
yeah, but so but I went over there, and so I was on the island of Kona. So obviously, I wanted to try some Kona coffee, and I couldn't believe how fruity that coffee bean was. Like every time I drank one of those coffees, I was like, I feel like I was drinking fruit. And I'm used to kind of like a Starbucks dark roast, or maybe one of the Keurig corporate brand
Exactly.
deals, like where it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I'm just like, give me the darkest, dirtiest, like most espresso, like coffee I can get. That's what I've always been for. And that stuff was so fruity and floral. I was like, whoa, what is this? And my point being is that coffee can mean a lot of different things depending on what kind of coffee beans you drink.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I mean,
Absolutely.
so as I'm nosing this thing right now, I'm saying to myself in my head, there's no coffee on the nose. Then I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, that Kona was so fruity. Actually, it might have some coffee here. It's just that it's not the coffee I drink
I'm going
normally.
to cover mine up just for another few minutes here and let some of that go in there.
My favorite challenge coin that has been put out by whiskey tubers yet.
Yeah. I just got it. Like, what is that in the middle? I know it now.
It's not in focus, but you don't need it in focus. You know exactly what that is.
Exactly. I
And
was
then
just going to say Whiskey Mountain's definitely is going to need one of those.
the
Oh,
Scotch test dummies.
test dummies.
Now,
Yep.
I got to say, though, they didn't quite get the masks right. I've told other people this. Those look like ninja masks instead of those nasty, ugly, cheap wet masks all of us are.
Whoops.
But man, it's so funny. I hope they do a 2021 one too. I hope they do another one. Maybe on the 2021 they'll add a ring or something to the middle finger. I don't know. Or I wouldn't mind if Scott and Bart, now that they've kind of come out and told the world that they're police officers, and that's their background, maybe they could do some kind of like police thing. I prefer people not do that kind of stuff that gets political unless they're actually a member of a group. And since they're cops, they wanted to do a funny like thin blue line, like on the middle finger, that'd be hilarious. I think that'd be great from those guys. Yeah, dude. Honestly, man, I love Scott and Bart. They're really the guys who made the whiskey community what it is. Like, I think without those two, we just never would have really gotten to the place we're at. Maybe we would have. Maybe it could have happened anyway. But I feel like those are the guys that really just made whiskey tube great, and I think it created an environment where others made it great too.
Yeah, I'm going to give you that coffee now. Now that I've covered it up again, give it a minute, and I can smell it on the nose. I can smell it on the nose.
It's a floral coffee, though. It's not like
it is not. Yes, it's not like a Starbucks. You're right. It's not like, let's just say, a Maxwell House, a Starbucks.
It's not dark roast.
Dutch Brothers, exactly.
It's not a dark roast. It's a very kind
How
of.
about Kona blend?
That's exactly what I was getting at. What I was talking about earlier, like that time I was in Hawaii on Kona, drinking that stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this is not what coffee tastes like. And then I'm like, oh, okay. So that's why people like Kona coffee, is it's a different coffee. It's very citrus and floral. I'm with you, Doug. I think the biggest thing that's hurt the whiskey tube community is the fact that those two aren't able to do enough live streams, because obviously Bart's got his he's got his kid, he's got his other stuff. And then Scott there for a while was working a different schedule, but yeah.
Hey, Whiskey Lovers
Love
Society.
those guys.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, cheers and Sláinte.
Just doing the Lagavulin The Offerman Edition here, and oh my gosh, I'm just in heaven over this thing.
The intensity on this for the proof and the ABV and everything else, I mean, it really is a well put together, well done whiskey. I mean,
it is.
It is.
Like I said, the spice I'm getting on this finish, it's not overpowering. It's not like a bourbon or a rye, but it has that little spiciness. But the finish is just, it just rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Wonderful.
The spice on the finish, I think, is really just the result of this is a little too young. I think that's kind of ethanol that's sneaking out at the end.
Okay, well, it could be. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going back and forth with if that's the case or not. But yeah, it's coming off a little unrefined in that sense. Just kind of ethanol, and maybe because I just don't recognize that note in anything else I've had from Lagavulin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Richie, I don't dislike SMWS, but I don't see myself ever joining as a member for that group, and kind of makes me a little sad that Bart's now joined the industry. Or sorry, Scott's joined the industry. I don't think it's going to change anything about the channel. I hope it doesn't, but yeah, whatever. But yeah, really flavorful. I think that's really, it's so big and bold.
I'm sure Scotch Down Under would say the same thing.
Where's Ken?
He's probably not out of bed. I know Lilith doesn't like peated anything, but
Ken should be out of bed. It's like 10 a.m. there for him now.
Well, it might be. We'll go to the Ardbeg here in a minute, as soon as I just finish this up, because this is just I think it's really good.
Yeah, pretty sure that, I don't know if you saw that, but Ken had a bottle of this Lagavulin Offerman that he got sourced in Australia, and his cork went bad on it, and the whiskey went bad.
What?
Yeah. He's like, he took a pour, but he goes, yeah, that's like at 30%. He goes, I don't want to drink this at 30%. It's like the alcohol just left the bottle. Because of the crazy ass heat that he deals with down there in apparently he lives in the Desert Valley of Australia. So
apparently so.
He starts telling me those temperatures, and I'm like, dude, move.
Well, let me just say, absolutely worth the money. I'm not disappointed in it at all. Any of you find this where you are at MSRP or whatever your price is over MSRP? Like I said, MSRP is 75, 80 bucks. You pick your price, what you would pay over for it. But I would add this to your collection. I would definitely add that to your collection because
I would definitely. I would second it only if you're a peat lover.
Correct. Let me just say that because that's what this whole stream is about, peat. But
yeah, well, I mean, my thing is, I mean, if you're just wanting to get into peat, I know this one was your entry point, Anthony, so that's great. But this is probably not the one I would recommend for somebody to start off with.
I'm just surprised that it's considered a more moderately or heavily peated Scotch because it certainly doesn't drink like it at all.
No, I mean your lightly peated is going to be your Highland Park, your Springbank. Those are your lightly peated. Medium peat's going to be more of maybe like a Talisker, perhaps. The only Talisker
they have the Talisker Storm. I just saw coming back on the shelves. It was there, then it was gone.
Here's the new
release. They did that one I can't get. I mean, it flies off the shelf.
Well, this one just came out, so it'll be a one and done. And this particular one is supposed to be their it's supposed to be like their most here it is, our smokiest reserve.
So this one here, I only have a picture. Can you see it?
Yeah, that's the new Lagavulin.
Yeah, I can't get that, but that was at one of my favorite bottle shops. So they were teasing me, but
it sold out fast here. I was shocked. It came and went almost overnight. Yeah, and they've had a few bad releases the last couple of years.
They went like $160 a bottle for that one.
Yeah, well, cast strength.
Yeah, it's true. I'm told it's good.
So they disappointed Mike and I so much that we kind of stopped buying it on the 2019 release. But that said, actually there's apparently some bottles near me. I might actually go pick one up.
I've found this one. But yeah, the price is like, Mr. Whiskey Shits level. He could afford it, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no. How much was it?
Well, let's put it this way. It was north of $1,000. North.
Well, it should be north of $2,000.
Well, it was at $2,000.
Oh, that's actually a good price.
What's up, guys?
Oh, look at that. I told you. Boom.
Hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah,
no, I say Beetlejuice, you say Whiskey Shits, and
yeah, believe it or not, Anthony, $2,000 for that's actually a really low price.
Really?
That's below retail.
Well, you let me know because I know where it's at.
Bruh. I'll put it this way. Mike has bought every limited release Lagavulin that's come out in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
He has bought 3 different Lagavulin 25s at like $1,400 a piece. He just picked up a Lagavulin 2015 Fish Eel for $1,200. He picked up 2 of the 21-year-olds from like 2012 at like $15 a piece. He's not even looking at that bottle.
No.
Even he's just like, nah, that is too much. So just to put it into scale, somebody who literally, I think, spends $10,000 a year on Lagavulin alone, he's still not buying it.
Well, if Sugar Kitty, I would tell you to get it.
Yeah, I just actually saw a place. So what happened for me is the 2017 was one of the best bottles of whiskey I've ever had for the price point. Like it was $120 for cast strength, amazing Lagavulin. Buy. And then the 2018 was not quite as good, but it was still really great whiskey. And then the 2019 came out, and I couldn't believe how it tasted. It had all the same tasting notes, but it was just a terrible experience drinking it. And I even got an ounce of it from Mike and took it home, poured it next to one of my good bottles, and I'm like, I'm literally getting the same tasting notes, but this 2019 just hurts to drink, and I'm hating it. while this 2017 is just like creamy, rich, viscous yumminess.
I just popped the cap on my Ardbeg 10, and man, fruit notes abound. I mean, I know it's peated, but you don't get that peat.
Well, I think so you're moving from the last whiskey you had was finished in a beer barrel. Otherwise, and it was probably kind of junky bourbon casks. Truth be told, Lagavulin's known for reusing their casks a little more than they should. That's kind of one of the things they're known to do. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just kind of one of those, like, you don't get a lot of like the vanilla from the bourbon on Lagavulin like you would on others. Ardbeg is exclusive, nothing but bourbon casks, and I think they're using not first fill, but they're using reasonably fresh casks.
And I think I do believe I read somewhere Lagavulin does get reuse casks, like you're saying, yes. And I'm just like, let me think about that. I do believe I read that on there.
Wouldn't shock me if they reuse casks 3, 4, 5, 6 times in some cases.
So, sweet lemon. That's funny you should mention that. I couldn't figure what a little bit of that tartness was when I drank this yesterday and then on Friday on Bourbon Stream. And I'm like, what is that little kind of for lack of a term, bitter, but tart, sweet? And I'm like, that's interesting. Okay, didn't think of lemon. I was just thinking maybe it's from the peat that gives it a little bit of that bitterness.
You're getting it's lemon, lime, and vanilla, man, all day for me. And when I say vanilla, it's almost like powdered sugar vanilla. What do you got in the glass, Adam?
I just poured a Kilkerran cast strength 8-year.
Which one?
113 proof. I think it's like 2018, maybe.
Wow.
So it's pretty yellow then, not like
dark. Yeah, it's very light.
Okay, so you got the bourbon cask finish one.
Yeah, I don't have much to add conversation wise, but I pulled out a couple. I pulled out a Macallan 2017 limited sample.
That's the cast strength one.
Yeah, 58.4.
Oh, that's the good. That's 2017. Oh, that's the good one. Yeah.
And then for you, Dustin, I pulled out the Springbank 12-year.
Have you tried that yet?
Yeah, it was a full sample.
Got a little taste left.
I don't remember it too much, but
that one's actually got some nice little bit of peat in it. Not heavy peat by any means, but nice little bit.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this Kilkerran though. Will Davilar gave me this sample like 7 months ago.
Yeah, so I'm on record. I hate the 2019, I think it was, release of the Kilkerran 8, which everybody loved. So I was the contrarian there on that one, and it's just because I don't like some of those really like overly heavy oak, younger sherried scotches that are coming out a lot lately. Just it took me a while to figure out that was like why I was so different than other people were on that one. But the one you've got, really nice, really good stuff, I think. And then the one
very citrusy. You guys are talking about lemon. I'm like, that's all I'm getting from it now. I'm like, holy shit.
That's got lemon. It's got a lot of like it's got a little bit of vanilla, and it's got like sort of it's just got like a sweet kind of custardy kind of thing going on in that Kilkerran, I think.
I have to say, I agree with Ben, the Demon Hunter, that smoky sweetness abounds in this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But that tart or that lemon, yes, I got that. Like Sugar Kitty made a comment about the limoncello. Okay, I know what he's talking about, and I'm like, okay, we can get fancy on that one. But man, I'm not getting the salt. And some people say, do you get a little saltiness on it? I'm not getting that out of it.
On the nose or palate?
Palate.
Okay, really?
I'm getting, yeah. Maybe I should start off on this one time and then go to the Lagavulin or something else. But
I'm getting it right now on the finish. It's got a nice little salt, a little savory.
Let me clear the palate a little bit more here.
Yeah, it's the initial taste I get after I swallow. On the front of the tongue is the saltiness.
Well,
But it's not all salt. There's other stuff going on, but
I mean, this is just sweetness abounds.
took a-
Sweetness abounds on the nose.
to me on the front of the tongue, it's like you took a lemon lime thing and you put it on a grill and you salted it, and then after like it had gotten nice and like toasted, you then tasted that like over like a very generic like piece of pork. Very very flavorful pork. But
Ben, comment on that. I mean, Ben, he's
yeah, I mean, you honestly, for the money, these you can get these as low as $45 sometimes, and worst
they're
case,
about 50 here, 53.
yeah, worst case you're gonna pay 60 maybe for one of these in some markets. That's just it's such a good whiskey for that. It's got a 10-year age statement. It's not super.
Yeah, they're proud of it.
46%, which is fine.
Mhm.
It's non-chill filtered. It's natural color. It's just
I don't care about the color on this. This is just a good pour. Now I will say this: it's not. Oh yeah, you gotta say it's not as viscous. It's not as viscous
no.
as the Lagavulin. No, but holy smokes! Again,
Well,
I'd buy another bottle of this.
This might be as viscous. It's just the way it finishes is different than Lagavulin. Lagavulin's got that creamy, sweeter Lagavulin malt, whereas this is a little bit more citrusy, and citrus kind of bites your tongue a little bit different.
Well,
I don't know. They're comparable.
I agree with you. I went the wrong way on peated Scotch and got a literally bad taste. The iodine, the Band-Aids, and like I said, I wanted to run my tongue across the floor in a shop I was at just to try to get rid of the taste. And half hour later, I still had it. It was horrid. But I got the peated rye from High West, limited release. It's right over my shoulder, and I'm going to drink that towards the end. I'll probably be on Live Wire tonight by the time I'm done. And oh my gosh, really slapshot. This has been, to me, this is great. And to have Dustin here to kind of talk about this and the different levels of peat has been a good experience. What you got there? Hold on, let me get you in closer.
So I'm gonna go to an Indian product that uses Scotland's peat to finish it. So
I saw that.
I've never compared this with like these comparable whiskeys, so I think it'll be fun to do. I don't love this whiskey by any means, but it was a nice change of pace, and it was something different. And that's sometimes that's all you want is.
Okay.
We're a bunch of geeks. We like trying good stuff. This was just
we have a real connoisseur now who wants to come on and share his knowledge with us. Okay, so everyone be ready, because I'm honored that he is here. Is everybody ready for this? Ta-da!
Yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Anthony,
How are you, Ben?
that's Dustin. But thank
You
you.
know your stuff, Ben. We know.
Hey man, anybody who enjoys whiskey is welcome to any conversation.
Exactly. Welcome on here. And like I told Dustin, the reason why I haven't pinned the key to come to the stream is just freaking trolls, And I knew Livewire is getting ready to do a hell of a show here tonight. And, I did put it in there because I know the people that are in there are regulars. So if they wanted to pop on, they could. But anyway, appreciate you coming on, especially Adam, because I know he's got to get ready for a show coming up. But push that down a little bit. Let me highlight you again.
Yeah.
62.8?
62.8 right there.
62. That's what I thought that said, but I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah, this camera does not like refocusing. It's Apparently, you have to spend a lot of money on cameras if you want them to.
I am having a
work well.
problem with mine. I got to work the bugs out. I've moved it too many times.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, I mean, it's a webcam. I paid like $175 for it. I figured that should be like as good enough. Apparently, people are like, no, I bought a 4K mirror camera. That's what you need. And I'm like, those are $2-3 grand, dude. That's some good whiskey you're passing up for that.
You know what, Sugar Kitty? I agree. There is a difference between Wee Beastie and that. I'm going to get Wee Beastie, but man, this 10 is just out of this world.
Yeah, I honestly, for me, the 10 is just, it's $5 more than the Wee Beastie. I just don't see the point of the Wee Beastie when you have
exactly. I bet, I just want to have it because I like that expression, and it's only $50.
Yeah, well, it's one of the ones that got you kind of into it, so that's all.
It did. It's the one that, like, wait a minute. I had the Pirate, and I couldn't stand that crap. And then when I talked to the people from Arbeg when they were at Liquor Line up here, Adam knows the one, and they explained to me where they explained to me where I went wrong, and they gave me some, and then they're like, you need to go to the 10 because the 5 and the 10, there's no comparison. Once you go to the 10, it's like, why have the 5? But anyway.
This Ardbeg is like an ashtray compared to the Kilkerran.
Oh, well, it's more refined in the
gosh, dude. There's so much more peat in that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the Kilkerran is virtually
like very lightly with a Kilkerran. Right?
Kilkerran barely has any peat in it. Yeah, I mean, it's probably 3, 4, 5 ppms or something. I mean, it's almost nothing.
Do you like any of the American single malts, Dustin? Do you like any Balcones stuff or?
I do. They actually have a peated Balcones. I had a cask strength sample of that I don't know if you can get it too many places outside of Texas, but was absolutely wonderful. I was shocked. It was so good. I got Matt from Whiskey Crusaders sent me like a little care package and absolutely sent me some cool stuff. So that was great. The Mirador that they do, which is like a finished single malt, is absolutely delicious. I
got a store pick from somebody.
Cool. Which one is it?
Single malt, 4-year.
Okay, so it's just the standard.
Wow, 64%.
Yeah, the standard one is definitely a good whiskey. I find it's a little more than I want to pay for it. To me, and it's cask strength, so I can't really complain about the price. It's just more than I want to pay for it.
I'm not experienced with that stuff at all. The Balcones.
Yeah, definitely. I do think Balcones is doing some cool stuff. If you ever get a chance, McCarthy's out of Oregon, they do it's a peated whiskey. It's absolutely delicious. And every year they put out a cask strength one, which I haven't had, but I'm hearing is incredible. So definitely if you see a McCarthy's around, they're on the high side, almost to $100 range, I think. I think the cask strengths are right at 100 or just over. Yeah, Sugar Cube's right. There is a heavily peated Kilkerran, and it is very young, and I would not recommend it given the price. But I think it's going to be a really good whiskey in a couple years.
A year and a half ago, the first Kilkerran I had was the heavily peated batch 2.
Yeah, I hate that.
That was an interesting journey.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to know what whiskey tasted like if they didn't put it in a barrel, that's pretty much what it tasted like.
Well, Adam, I've arrived when Charles puts me on the big screen, so everybody in the house can enjoy the stream.
Nice.
Maybe his vision.
I know it's because Ben came on. It's like, oh, we got to watch this.
I don't think I said hello to Charles yet. Good evening.
So Ben, you drinking a lot of whiskey to stay warm up there?
I was just gonna say, I know why.
You haven't frozen to death yet. So.
The funny thing is, this is the mildest it's been in probably 2 or 3 weeks.
Dude, I've seen those pictures you're posting on Instagram.
Look at
all negative temperatures, the whole forecast. It's like Jesus.
Of course, that's pour there, buddy. Still, look at that pour.
Yeah.
Look at that. That is a 4 ouncer right there, man.
He doesn't want to have to keep getting up. I don't blame him.
Well done.
And that's the Ardbeg, right, Ben?
Yeah, that'll last me all evening.
Yeah.
Maybe even into tomorrow. We'll see.
Oh no, it wouldn't
Anybody
last.
else just like
I
wake
got
up
to
in
go
the
to live
morning
wire. So
and anybody else wake up in the morning and like see this like probably 3 times, every 6 times I drink, 3 times I wake up in the morning with this.
Yeah, I see it every now and then. Usually every other stream.
Yeah, like I got a little little topper on top of the Glencairn. It's not like I was so drunk I left my whiskey to get tainted. So I've got a nice glass of whiskey that I can start, and then I usually drink it while Ken's going at noon for lunch.
Some of them aren't that great once you go back to them, but like I think I had Elijah Craig barrel proof a couple weeks ago, and I'm like,
Those
dang, that still smells pretty damn good. And I tried it. I'm like, oh yeah, like that held up fine.
Just to give you an idea, Adam, what I did yesterday is there was a store pick, the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof here in Alberta.
Oh,
nice. And I put it up against the Storytime Sexual Chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, 64 and 62%. They were both. I picked the Jack Daniel's, but
yeah,
they're both very good.
Yeah, drip is.
It's hard to beat that Jack Daniel's single barrel proof.
Yeah,
it's awesome. I mean, it's just
dripless are good, man. I like dripless, but they're definitely kind of a craft like profile.
Like I had a sample of the rye from Daniel H. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
It was amazing. The single barrel proof rye. It was just wow. Hi, Marty.
Yeah, I didn't put the bottle, but
hello.
Hey, Marty.
Happy New Year, everybody.
There, Marty. What are you drinking?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I've gone back.
Peat, Marty. Where's the peat, Marty? Come on.
I've had it. I'm just mixing around. I'm going back to stuff I haven't had.
Maker's Mark. Interesting.
I don't care if you do or don't, buddy.
No, but I'm going to give him some shit over it.
Ooh, well, we got Fort Charlotte. Very good choice. That's a great whiskey.
We'll just go back to it.
He even had the glass ready. Don't let him fool you.
That's what I started with. So I was kind of mixing. So I was like, you know what? I need to go back. Let's go back. Perfect.
Speaking of bourbons, guys, I almost made one of the most ridiculously stupid bourbon purchases of my life today. And I stopped myself.
Doug H, Big Vic.
So I'm at the store today, and they have the most beautiful display bottle I have ever seen of any whiskey ever. It's this crazy, gorgeous glass bottle with this cork topper. And I'm like, oh, that is cool. And it's 15-year-old Kentucky bourbon. Yeah. And they want $330. And I'm like, let's do it. And then I'm like, I'm not going to spend $330 when it's going to end up turning out it's the Jim Beam stuff that I was paying $120 for. Exact same stuff. And I'm going to pay $220 because of how cool the bottle is.
It's probably the one I got that I paid that stupid amount for.
Oh, you know what? That might be the same one.
Is it this bottle?
Here we go.
Yes. That's right. I knew somebody I knew had gotten that.
Yeah, it's a single barrel, 15-year, probably Jim Beam.
Yeah, it's the
World Whiskey Society.
Yep, exactly. Yeah,
the decanter is cool as hell. The decanter is like legit, but
truth be told, you're never gonna.
Whiskey wasn't worth the price at all.
No, right. It's maybe probably $200 bourbon, and that's pushing it because the market's stupid right now.
I say $120 max.
That's what's worth, but I mean, it's 2022, buddy. You gotta start spending more money. hate to tell you, prices are going up. Now, honestly, today I almost bought a backup of my Calumet 15. That's a really good bourbon for about $120.
Did you get the Sam Houston 15?
I've got two of them. I've got the Kentucky Batch 1 that everybody raved about, and I've got the Kentucky Batch 6, which is pretty good.
I prefer that over the Calumet.
I agree.
12 for Christmas.
Yeah. The difference is, Adam, I can buy a Calumet 15 whenever I want. I can't really get another Sam Houston. They're kind of you buy them or you don't.
Yeah,
you don't get a second chance at those.
I picked up my Calumet for like $89.
Dude, that's killer.
Which one?
That's crazy. It's cheap.
14 or 15 there, and
15.
Oh man, yeah.
That's all day.
Well, actually, I think I sent it. I think I was texting Marty at the time I was standing there, or it might have been Adam, one of the two. But I was at Total Wine, and I said, "Hey, what do you think?" And they're like, "You better buy it." It might even been bourbon too, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. You really, I mean, for the money, that's a great bourbon, and it's at least here it's available still. You could just go to the store and buy it.
Yeah, well, it's
Uh-oh.
off the shelf here right
You
now.
been?
But
Well, because they charge you $90 for it. Of course, it's off the shelf. That's crazy.
That's a great
It
killer
was.
bottle.
for a 15-year-old, yeah.
And good proof on it too. It's not a low proofer. It's like
No.
107 or something like that. I mean, it's I don't remember what it is, but it's good.
105, the Calumet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 105.
105, 52.5 ABV.
Yeah, I was surprised to see. I think it was Deathless Dogs the other night said he liked the 14 Calumet more. And everybody's palate's different.
Yeah.
But that's it's a little-
So that was last night, right? Because we were talking about it on Joe's stream, and then I think he did the comparison on Cheech's.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with him though. I love that freaking 14 Calumet that I had, and I think we still have it on the shelf here. It's just
Yeah,
hard.
we still have the 14 on the shelf, but I'll be honest with you, man. All the thing is though, when Deathless Dogs was giving like his reasoning was the exact same reasoning why I like the 15 more than I like the 14. It was like we're getting the same notes. It was just he was saying stuff that I like.
Good stuff, Marty.
I like the 14 better than the 15 on my end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, of course, there are different racks. So
Absolutely.
possible we got a different rack, so we got a different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
think
for me,
both, it's all really good stuff. The Calumets, the Sam Houstons.
yeah.
But yeah, the Sam Houstons are really small, like the 3-barrel batches. The
No,
Calumet.
those we're not drinking the same bourbons ever. We've been drinking
No.
the same bourbon on Calumet because they're a little bit bigger. But I mean, for me, I'm better or worse. I'm an age snob when it comes to all whiskey. I wish I wasn't. I wish I liked younger, but those Bartons hit 15 years, they get this smoky thing from the oak, which I just love.
Yeah.
And if you don't love that, then we're gonna have different opinions on those.
Sugar Kitty, do you like I guess you're saying you like the 15 better than the 14?
I compared the
right?
Sam 15 to. I got a sample of the Knob Creek 15 from Adriana.
Do you know if that was a good 15 or bad 15?
The Knob Creek.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it. I have a hard time justifying the price, but I guess it makes sense. Like it's only 120 and it's a 15-year-old, so it's not that bad of a price. But
I didn't think it was a
Sam
bad
Houston
price.
kicked its ass, I thought.
I paid the
Sam
same for the
Houston.
Sam Houston, I think. So
Yeah, Sam Houston's 130 here, so $10 more, and it's way better.
That's a one and done on the 15 for me. The 12 is so good, it's not worth the price difference, I don't think. And then I got to
Think
have
so?
the 12 cast strength. That cast strength,
Ooh.
the 12
Dude.
cast strength was epic.
honestly,
I got a bad bottle of the 12. I actually had to buy a second one because the bottle of 12 I got didn't taste like anybody was talking about it. I'm sitting there going, "You motherfuckers are idiots. The fuck's wrong with you?" And then I bought another bottle and I went, "I apologize. My bottle just sucked."
Which that happens, and I've heard that with a lot of things. I've heard it even with the Knob Creek 15s. People said,
I
don't
imagine
like
Trump
that. I
got
don't
one
like
that he
that.
just said was garbage, and I'm like,
I thought it's great. And
I was looking at him like, "Bro, you're what are we smoking? What do you mean over oaked and bitter?" I'm like, "This is like caramel dipped oak. It's like the most delicious oak flavor ever."
only thing is I kind of compared it to the 12, so the Knob 12 and the Knob 15. I didn't see a lot of difference.
I did a video, and you're right. There's not.
Yeah.
See, that's
So,
where I thought the price thing came into play.
Yeah, I got to
with it.
justify paying $40 more for a 15. It's like,
Yeah,
Maybe.
I agree.
I also I think
Yes, on 15.
batch
Okay.
thing. But yeah, for me, the 15 had this like beautiful like caramel
Finish, yeah.
oak thing whereas the 12 was caramel and had some oak, but it wasn't like caramelized oak. I don't know. To me, there was a giant gap, even on the better bottle I got. Now on the 12 cast strength, that kills the 15. That thing,
that thing is so good. Yeah.
That thing is an Elijah Craig
That
barrel.
thing's better than a lot of those older store picks that I've had.
Oh,
I've had 15-year store picks that weren't as good as the 12 cast strength.
that 12 cast strength is one of the best things they've put out.
That would have been my bourbon of the year if I'd have had it.
There's an 18 coming out this year, or maybe it's already out. I don't know, but I've seen the label. There's an 18 Knob Creek this year.
The 18's label is almost
Yeah, I
identical
heard
to the
about that.
15.
Yep.
And it's kind of catchy. If you go past it, if you're not careful, I've not seen it, but I know you'd be like, "Whoa, wait a minute, was that the Yeah.
Yeah, we still got some 15s on the shelf around here. We've still got some of the 12 cast strings available if I really want one.
I do real bad. There's no questions
Those
asked.
are like $100, right? $100.
Yeah, well, the problem is it's at my point store, so it's 600 points plus the $100. So if it was 300 points, I'd offer it up to anybody who wanted one, and I'd do 2, and then I'd say, all right, sorry guys, you're cut off. I can't keep doing this for you, but at 600 points, I can't just I can't just grab those for you, people. Trust me. Trust me.
I just poured the spring bank for you.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because trust me, buddy, I would gladly get anybody a bottle of that if I could right now.
Do you have to use points?
Aiden got me one out of Minnesota, and that thing was amazing.
You do have to use points?
Yeah, it's 600 points. So I'd have to spend $600 for the right to buy it, yeah.
Yes, I understand that.
Oh, Sugar Kitty talking about the Calumet?
He's got to be. The Calumet is crap. Now, mind you, if you ever want to watch a great video, just shouting out my buddy Jason from Mash and Drum, go watch his Calumet 12. It was
He's
one
a
of his
dick.
first videos. Bruh, it's one of his first videos. He's wearing a hat that's even douchier than Anthony's, like way douchier.
What did it say? Whiskey nose?
He's wearing like a messenger hat or something, like, like something you'd expect in like a 1920s, like, newspaper.
Like a flat cap newsboy.
Yeah. Oh man, and like it's funny. It's like he's got the feel of a Mash and Drum video, but like the quality of everything involved was not quite as good. It's even douchier than that one, buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard the 12s are pretty bad, but I
got one for Christmas.
I really enjoyed the older ones. The 14s and 15s were all really good. So.
I haven't done it, and I may have missed my chance, but there is a hat maker here in Cincinnati who is up there in age. I mean, like 80s. He's world renowned, famous. I mean, he has made hats for some of the biggest celebrities in the world. And I have multiple times wanted to just go there and get a custom made hat just for the sheer sake of saying I have a custom made hat from like an old school, like 1920s, like, machinery. Like,
hey, Dustin.
Oh, nice.
Dustin, I have 4 bespoke hats.
Here's the douchiest of all.
Yeah, mine's in the trunk.
Underneath your spare.
Well,
it doesn't even like fit my head right.
I mean, Adam and I have the same hairstyle, so let's be real. You need a hat. You have that particular haircut. And especially if you're not super dark.
I gotta get Adam another one of those.
It's a health concern. People get in my car and be like, why do you have 16 freaking hats in here? And I'm like, because what if I one day didn't have a hat in my car and I had to walk outside? You know how long I can last without a hat on in the sun? I'm telling you, 12 minutes, and I am literally starting to blister.
Oh, I can imagine.
Mm-hmm. And I've always said I don't really care that much about the look of being bald. Balding is disgusting looking, but bald's not a big deal. But man,
yeah, if you're going bald, like if you're balding and you just have the horseshoe, just shave it. Just shave that shit. Unless you got like some weird lump on your head, like just shave it.
Yeah. And I mean, like when like it starts, like you start losing your hairline, like after a certain point, man, like it starts looking weird. And like you're trying to fight it with gel.
On, man.
Cheers, Ben.
We'll see you later on, brother.
Yeah, man. The demon.
Yeah, cool, Ben. See you, buddy.
Yeah, it was good having you on, Ben.
Yeah, I like
you have 3 bespoke hats in your collection.
Oh, at least 3. I get them made at D Bar, as in like you drink at J Hat Company here in Las Vegas, and their equipment goes back to the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah, it's the same thing this place is like. I mean, this guy's, he's world renowned. And I used to work downtown, so I kept walking past it. It was a novelty at the time, and then now I'm like,
once you get a bespoke hat like that, it's like, wow.
Well, the other thing is though, like which one?
This one is not. It's off the rack, but I like it. I get so many friggin' compliments on it. So I even have a derby. The one I wore during the holidays, like Marty had a almost like a top hat. So I had a black one. That one's a bespoke hat. That one was made by him. Then I have 1, 2, maybe 3 Westerns that he has made, different brims, so on and so forth, different crowns.
Those get expensive,
then-
the Western ones.
Once he has your head size, and they put this device that looks like a medieval torture device, and it measures every bump, and they take that, he has it. So you can just go on his website and say, I want blah, 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 blah. Boom. Like my latest one is a true Panama hat, hand woven for the summer, for the spring and summer. But they're made in Ecuador, even Panama hats. That's where they originally came from. So anyway, I got one for Christmas. So I have that. Matter of fact, I wore that. I can't remember if it was on Bourbon stream or it was my holiday stream, one of the two, but I had it on. But anyhow, I got that. So really nice, really, really nice, literally handmade, woven, every fiber in that quote Panama hat is bow spoke hat.
It's awesome.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
I like that stuff. But anyway,
Yeah, I want to get one. It's not even the money. It's really just I need to like stop in. And also, I mean, they're not cheap. So like the thing is, like what's like if you're gonna have one nice hat, what style hat do you get? And I don't know. Like,
well,
I
that's
don't
why
know.
when you go, like the place you did, you go there, they have some that you can look at. In other words, you can put on and look at yourself in the mirror and go, yes. But the thing about it is they can tweak it to you. You know,
yeah. It
you
just
may not want a 6-inch brim, you may want a 4-inch. Okay. And then after you get it, you go, you know what? Take another 1/2 inch off, duck it in the front. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
They
It's
can't
just
add it once you cut it off, but you can go from out here to something like this, but they'll make it custom for you. I mean, whatever you want.
Yeah.
You pick the style, they actually make the hat, they form it, they make it fit your noggin.
yeah.
And then
It's
and
just
then
again,
yours-
it's kind of like again. I mean, it's kind of like when we like. Well, it's I mean, you know, we can bring it back to what we've been talking about. It's like getting into peated Scotch, right? Like you don't know what you don't know when you first get in. You know, oh, I like peated Scotch, cool. But you know, we were talking earlier. You know, you were saying like you know how you consider the Lagavulin to be lightly peated when reality is it's actually considered a heavily peated whiskey. Now, this is the most heavily peated whiskey in the world. Not this particular batch, but this brand in general, Octomore.
as I say, is that Octomore?
Yeah, this is the 9.3.
Because we got the 12.1, 0.2, and 0.3 here. You can get the 3 of them on the special for $5.99.
It's actually not a bad price.
Yeah.
By the way, this is just one of my favorite, probably my favorite bottles ever.
I
Only
can
the-
see that.
Only the .3s have this. All the other ones are black. But this is just cool. It's that frosted glass. I love it.
I think it's the 12.2, Dustin, here. It's clear like that. And I think it's a 10-year.
I don't know much about the two. So if you're going to buy one of them, I recommend you get the 2. Not even because it's going to be better, but because you're never going to see a .2 sold in America again. Because they're not sold in America usually. They're travel retail, and they're selling them here this year because of COVID, basically. So this is your one chance if you want to get one of the .2s, without having to ship it from the UK. And they tend to cost.
It's here. I looked at it today. I touched it.
I had one in my hand, and I was thinking about it real hard, and then I just couldn't do it, and they sold out. So,
Dustin, can you tell me a little bit about the Springbank 12-year cast strength as I'm drinking it?
Which let's see here. What's the proof on that one?
112.6. I get like a lot of bourbon notes on it though.
So that's going to be 56.3.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm looking up which one that is. Okay, so that's a 2000. Oh, that's an older one. Okay. Oh, I know that one. I know the exact bottle. So that's 70% sherry casks, 30% bourbon casks. They made 15,000 bottles. So think of it as basically it's as rare as George T. Stagg. Most years. Yeah, always fun to put that in perspective to people. Like that's not a hard thing.
People don't know some of those other brands that are just as limited or whatever if they're Like if you're a bourbon fan, you don't know that
Yeah.
about Springbanks or whatever.
I think a lot of bourbon fans think Georgia C. Stagg is rarer than it is. They actually make a pretty darn good amount of it. It's just everybody wants it because it's delicious. And mind you, in the UK, the 12, the one you're talking about, unicorn. So that one was not one of my favorites because I do actually think I had that particular batch. But at the same time, I say that. Or wait, no, this is that's a 2017. No. Oh boy. No, you got a good one, buddy. Ooh, you got an old black box.
That's Will Davillard again, man. That guy.
Yeah, no, he hooked you up to that. Yeah, I just looked it up again. Now you've got a black box. So, all right. So the story with Springbank is with the 12s, they were really, 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 really good when they first came out, and they used to be sherry biased. So they had more sherry casking than bourbon. And when they switched over to the red boxes, the quality didn't go down by any stretch. Well, it's nothing wrong with the UK cap, but I got to mix it up. You don't wear a UK cap with a suit. You got to have some options. But so those old ones had these really, really good sherry casks that really were awesome. And then they went through a period where the sherry cask, I think, quality went down a little bit for them. And what they've done recently is they've switched over to using some port, some brandy, some burgundy, just some rum and some different caskings to try to keep it interesting. But those old ones that you've got there, Adam, oof, yeah, that's got old world sherry. You're probably looking at about 10 ppms. So, an Ardbeg is like 50 ppm.
Yeah.
You're like in the 40s for a Lagavulin or a Lafroig. You're in like the 100 to 200 range of these things. But so yeah, so what you should be getting is a nice little bit of peat on the finish. Up front, you should be getting a nice little red fruit, a little bit of chocolate, and then I get what I would call a vinegar barbecue sauce on those.
On the palate?
On the nose even too, but
yeah,
a lot of people refer to Springbank Peat as being kind of like a barbecue sauce, but it's like a vinegar barbecue sauce.
Okay, I think maybe really light,
It's not intense. It's just a light little bit there.
And that's in the 12, right?
Yeah, I can get that
right now. Okay.
Yeah, and then
is that pretty much all Springbank 12s or lightly peated? Let's say
all Springbank is so Springbank makes 3 different malts. Okay, they have the Hazelburn, which is their unpeated malt. Springbank is a very lightly peated malt, and then they have Long Row, which is their heavily peated. And for
what
Springbank,
was that? What was that third one again?
Long Row.
Long Row.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw that today. Okay.
Yeah, so that's their heavy peat. Now, mind you, their heavily peated is still lighter peat than Southern Isla stuff. So it's less peat than, say, a Lagavulin or a Lafroig or an Ardbeg, but it's like 30 ppms, maybe 25, 30 ppm.
It's not like the 200 in the one you got.
Definitely not that. No, definitely not that. But yeah, really good. Oh, yeah, he's got a black box Springbank 12. It's such a.
I just poured some of that Balcones.
Which one you got there? Oh yeah.
Ooh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's the same one, exactly the same batch, even.
Yep.
I actually think I have that bottle in the back. But
that's what I was just drinking, Marty.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean that's Anthony. You need to get yourself a Springbank. The other thing that Springbank always has is undercooked sugar cookies on the palate. When you get into the sweet,
like I said, the heavily peated one, I saw it today. I looked at it, and I did not know it was a Springbank.
Yep, it's good. The heavily peated's good. I always recommend if you're gonna jump into Springbank, the 10 is it's usually so good, and it's usually priced reasonably. Everything's getting more expensive, unfortunately. That's the world we live in.
Hey Anthony, I gotta jump over to our StreamYard because we're doing a little pre-show planning, but
okay.
Good
I figured we'll be over.
We'll see you soon.
Be over in time for the festivities.
Thanks for the education, guys.
Yeah, cheers, buddy.
Yeah.
Nice seeing you, man.
See ya.
Take it easy.
See you in a minute.
I love we're slowly turning Livewire into a Springbank channel
Hey,
because I know
that's the whole
Stahl
idea.
loves
Like I said, this
loves it.
stream's all about Pete Curious. So here we go.
It is.
I tell
Great
you what,
stream.
man, this Amrut is really doing well today, buddy. It is doing
What's
well.
the proof of that?
This Amrut I've got here was it 160, 62.8% on this thing, buddy.
So that's the
Cast strength peated.
yeah, but made in
India.
India. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
made in India with but they import peat from Scotland.
Hmm.
Yeah, another one I strongly recommend. You're not going to be able to get the one that I'd love you to have, but you still get a good one. Balvenie does what they call the Week of Peat now. It used to be Peat Week. Now it's the Week of Peat. It's a 14-year-old Balvenie they make with peat. They make it 1 week a year. They make peated malt. And it's amazing. It really is. It's amazing whiskey.
Hey, Anthony, zoom in. Dustin, what do you think of these prices? If you can see them. I'll just tell you what it is. It's the 15-year Springbank for 148 and the 18 for 238.
That's not a good or bad price. That's sort of what they go for, unfortunately.
Yeah. The 15 Campbelltown single malt 148.
Yeah, that feels a smidge high to me, but that's what they've become, man. Unfortunately, what sucks is you can get them for half the price if you can find them in the UK.
Yeah,
but they sell out so fast there you can't.
I'd love to get the Glen Scotia. Was it Victoria?
Victoriana, yeah. That one you should be able to find that one around.
I haven't.
I
know I'd probably have to fight JD Bourbon Approach on that one.
Can you get liquor shipped into your state pretty easily from other states?
No.
Okay.
No, you can't ship it in here.
Okay. I know you're paying, so I get it. Let's see here.
Oh, Charles said Springbank 18 is what made him a Peat fan. That's cool. Cheers, Charles.
Yeah, it's a good whiskey. Now I was going to see if I could find you one online, Anthony, but I can't. Unfortunately, Glen Scotia kind of become one of the new...
I think I can get some stuff from them from time to time.
Bunah,
I think my wife got me the Fusion 4 or Fusion 5 from them. I forget which one it was. Anyway.
But what about like K&L? Can you get to a K&L? Because I bet you they have it. You could probably get it on because they're right there in California. So I don't know how close. That's like a 2-hour drive for you. I know.
Well,
not a normal trip, but
I've got people that'll hand deliver it.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, find one there because that should be
like probably drive over here in a heartbeat just for an excuse to come to Vegas.
Damn right.
Why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Vegas used to be the place where guys went for debauchery, and now it's the place where you take your kids and you golf.
That's right.
Yeah,
I did hear once from somebody that he went to a bachelor party out there in Vegas, and they got like fully automatic, like AKs or M something or others. I'm not a huge gun guy, but they were able to go out on a range with fully automatic guns and just destroy stuff like for hours.
Yeah.
And I know that,
absolutely right around the corner. Absolutely. You can do that. You can get an M50.
That's what it was, an M50. M50, that's exactly.
And you pay the price. They give you, let's just say 100 rounds, and you just let her loose in about 30 seconds. You're done.
Game over.
Game over, but you did it. Yeah, you can get any automatic weapon you pretty much want. And it's a veteran-owned business. It's right off the strip behind roughly Circus. And good group of people. And they pick you up at your hotel. But there's a lot of places not far from the strip that will do that are good, reputable places. And safety is, of course, paramount.
Oh, especially for that kind of stuff. I mean,
Oh, look at this. Cooler running. What's up, man? We're just talking about peated scotches today. I'm sure you guys down there would know nothing about peated scotches.
yeah,
But
this Amroot really is today.
that's hitting it for you.
Yeah, it's just that big. It's just the boldness to it. I think that's really just making it so nice.
Well, you've got the proof on that. Yeah. And
it's got the mouthfeel. Like it's just viscous, and it's got kind of that Balcones Texas malt.
Yes, you can, Sugar Kitty.
It's good.
You got the money. There's the places that'll take you to do it.
Yeah, I feel like cannons are getting a little ridiculous. Maybe I'm just maybe I'm wrong. A cannon just seems like it's crossed into it's a little too much.
I think what Dustin is drinking is cast strength.
Yeah, it's the peated cast strength Amroot, Charles.
Yep.
I actually bought this when I bought my last King of Kentucky. I needed to spend about $1,000 at the store for the right to buy it. And this was part of the $1,000 I spent that day for the right.
Isn't it awful what we do?
Yeah, I mean the thing was though,
Absolutely.
at least I actually got some good deals, and I actually got I even got like discounts on the bottles because of the volume I bought. So
Well, it's good to have though these rapport with these certain businesses that, they will let you know, because what I'm saying is not that they don't put stuff out, they do, but things come in such limited quantities that they'll hold back a case and maybe put a half a case out. So if anyone walks in, they will have the opportunity to pick up something allocated. But they might have a case in the back for their real good regular customers that pop in, that they know by sight because they spend money there regularly. If you're one of the lucky ones that pop in there at the time they have it, hey, do you want A? Do you want B? Yeah, okay, and you're gone with it. Once it's gone, it's gone. They would love to be able to put everything out on the shelf, and they're not really trying to be selective, but I appreciate that from them because, when we got some Weller here, and let me see which one it was. I think it was this one, my Weller
Full
Proof.
oh, that's a non-pick. Those are real hard to get.
Yeah, correct. They only got 2 bottles. I was the second call.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So yeah, right. This is not a pick, and I haven't cracked it. It's not a store pick, and that's what made it even rarer, and I couldn't pass it up. And I've been offered $250 for it, and I said no.
Oh yeah, I mean anything less than 400, it's like a joke. I mean those things sell for $400 to $800
because it wasn't a store pick. Well, it was somebody knowing, and he knew that was more than I paid for it.
Yeah,
more than I paid for it. He just says right now, and I said, you know what? No, but I said I'll keep it in mind. And he said, but I'm not.
I had somebody trying to buy my CYPB from me when I was leaving a store with it once, and it was one of the funniest conversations I think I've ever had. It's like the guy's like, "I'll give you $100 right now," and I'm like, "Why would I take $100 for this?"
Exactly. I will drink it right here, right now.
I'm like,
I had the same guy do something, or same thing happen at Total Wine in Knoxville when I picked up my 12-year. He's like, I'll give you $100 for it right now. So, well, I'd say you would. It's like, no shit. No, thank you, buddy.
I mean, this guy's like kept going on like it was, and he kept acting like you wouldn't take $100 for that. Like, do you think I'm poor, buddy? Like, I know I don't dress like I'm a rich guy or anything, but I don't, $100 isn't changing my life here right now.
Golly.
No. Like, you know how much I had to spend for the right to get a bottle like this? Like, I got this in a raffle during a tasting that I had to pay $60 just to try 4 different not even full ounces of whiskey. I mean, you think I'm paying for that, and you think you're gonna come to me with $100 for that?
Springbank is just hard to beat, man.
It's great, man. I had a guy I was leaving a store with a King of Kentucky once, and this guy literally yells from like the other side of the room, "What do you want for the King of Kentucky?" And I looked over and I just kind of like dismissed him at first, and he does it again. How much for the King of Kentucky? And I looked at him and I said, 10,000 cash. And he goes, all right, never mind. I'm like, don't ask if you're not willing to pay ridiculous money, because I'm going home and popping this thing open. I can't wait to try it.
That's right.
Like, this is going to be delicious. Like,
I just popped the cork on my Ardbeg again, and I'm going to have another little drop of it while we're chatting here for about the next 10, 15 minutes before we transition over to Livewire. But this has been a good drop. I will say this: I'm surprised. I think the Lagavulin is a little more heavily peated than this Ardbeg, but the Ardbeg is just a sweetness bomb compared to the Lagavulin.
I believe the Ardbeg actually is a little bit higher peat level.
I tell you what, I did get to try this weekend was
taste like it.
The Dalmore cigar malt.
Oh,
what'd you think of that?
I'm on the fence on that right now. I
really
pick it up
did
for
like it.
about $1.50.
I won't buy it just because it's Dalmore and they color and they do chill filtering and all that stuff. But I've heard great stuff about it.
Yeah,
I've heard it's delicious.
It's good.
The problem with Dalmore is when you get into the stuff that really is worth the money or would be worth the money, boy, do they know how to overcharge for it. Like a 25-year-old Dalmore is like $2,000.
So let me just see if I can find it, Dustin, and I'll show you. I was drinking. Hold on.
I did get to try. I tried a little bit of an independent bottle of Dalmore 35, a Dalmore 35-year-old.
What'd you think?
I mean, it was delicious, but man, like, I mean, it's it's not an official bottling, but it was beautiful. It's great. It was okay. It was $75 a pour, I think, which is perfect.
I don't know if you can see this
for 35-year-old whiskey. Glengoyne 21.
Well, I tore the heck out of that over the holiday.
You should have.
I did. And I was nice. I saved some for my dad. Okay, he's got it.
This is the one you want.
I can't see it.
25
years?
I would say so.
This particular one you can't get here in the States. It has to be from there. So my brother-in-law and sister were in Scotland for a month, and they sent that to my dad for the holiday.
The 21 does get sold in the States, but it's pretty hard to find. And honestly, I haven't seen a new 25 here in the States since they did their new bottling. But yeah, the 25 used to be the whiskey I told anybody, if you love sherried whiskey and you're willing to spend some money, it's the one to buy. But the price on that thing has gone up so much, I can't tell you to buy it anymore. It used to be you get those for about $300, which is a lot of money, but $300 is not stupid money. Now you're paying close to $500, and I'm just like, man, I can't recommend a $500 whiskey to just anybody. Like that's getting stupid. Like I paid like $350 for that one, and it was at a store where I got points, so I also got to get some allocated bourbon with it, So it made it all worthwhile. I think I got that, and then I got the Four Roses limited edition 2020.
Yeah, I need to get. I'd love to.
I know
have
my
one of those.
brother-in-law picked up a Macallan 25 or a 30.
Those are expensive.
Well, he was in Scotland. He was at Macallan.
They're expensive there too.
Yeah. So he bought them and brought them back. But yeah, that distillery is beautiful. They did a $100 million makeover, and I mean their tasting area where you can, buy a few drams while you're there. It's beautiful. They did a video while they were in there just to show us. It was beautiful. That was Anyway, over there, maybe October.
Oh,
this
I mean,
year?
their new
Oh,
their
last
new
year.
distillery is impressive.
Hey,
It
there's
is
Whiskey
their new
Lovers
distillery.
Society. Loved your
Yeah.
last video, buddy. That was awesome today.
What was the video on?
Oh,
It's funny. I looked at it. It's on my list of things to watch. Oh my gosh, pull it up, Marty.
I am. Damn it.
I know.
Can
it's
a young whiskey be great? That's the one.
Oh, okay.
That's not the one
that's
he
good.
just. I don't think was that the one he just did here. Like
That's the one he did 16 hours ago that I watched.
yeah, I'd say like the last day. Okay, I was looking
Yeah.
at something else then.
Yeah, we need to drop his link. I'll do it.
But
Yeah,
that
I-
one going 21.
I guess you know what? I don't have notifications on with Whiskey Lover Society.
Look, let me
That
just
didn't
say
even
this
pop up
on
on my
that
feed.
going in that 21 with 4 drops. When I say drops, take your eyedropper, drops of water in
Mhm.
that and distilled water. Boom. Oh my goodness. The difference. I drank it neat first and I go, yes, this is good. Then I added like 2 drops of water and I was like, wow, that's different. And then I added 4 total and boom, bingo.
Solid.
It was just
Interesting.
when I say drops, literally an eyedropper, drop, drop,
Mhm.
drop.
Yeah, the problem with the 21 is it's just such a low ABV. That's really what
It is. I think it's
3
42.
43.
Okay. I knew it was somewhere slow, 140, but I was like, if they would just inch that up, I think that there would be no need for the water. But
Well, there's a reason why I tell people to get to 25. It's 48%, and I mean it makes all the difference in the world.
I'm a
48%.
proofstitute. I'm a proofstitute.
You don't get me wrong.
I'm
4
a
more years of
proofy- I am
aging.
a proofy bitch. That's all there is to it. I mean, my wife even knows when it comes to bourbon, 100 or north, I'm there. I've got
Absolutely.
90 and 92 proofs. Okay. And of course, some of my scotches right here, they're only 80, give or take, but they're good in their own right.
Yeah.
But when
Anthony's
it
the
comes
kind of guy
to-
who won't sit in a car that's less than $100,000. His purse better be Louis, and he needs a 60%er.
Well, exactly. I'm here and I love these store picks that are 105 proof of redemption rye. I mean, this is like deliciousness in a glass. I can come around here and grab this one here at 100 and 101, 102 proof, but it's wonderful. And this is going to be my last drink of the night because it's a peated rye.
That's
to
the
go
pick,
along with
wasn't
all-
it, Anthony?
What is that?
Is that the pick? Maybe you said that
Yeah,
just a second
yeah.
ago. Yeah.
Total Wine. Yep. But when
That
I
is a
transition
vanilla.
over to Livewire here in a little bit, I'm going to stay with the Lagavulin or the Ardbeg, but until I decide I'm done, and then I'm going to pour myself one of those because, like I told Dustin earlier, I was told that don't do the peated rye first, do it last, and that the sweetness in the rye is just like unbelievable how it pops up. So I'm going to see if that's true. So that's going to be my kind of like,
around
my experiment.
Check out. Oh, you know what? I do have a rye not too far by. I will pour a rye here. Give me just a second, guys.
This Springbank, Anthony,
Mm-hmm.
has turned into a caramel nose. Like it's unbelievable. There's no water in it. I didn't put any drops.
I can't, Sugar Kitty. I have a T-shirt that says that, but Cheech coined that already. I got it from Cheech.
What, proofy bitch?
Proofy bitch. Mm-hmm. I have an orange shirt. Matter of fact, I almost put it on today, but I wore it a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So you know what, James?
This bottle's
And-
on watch, man.
Is that the Templeton?
Templeton.
Yeah, the 10-year for $85. Oh my goodness.
And that's peated?
No. It's rye. So
Oh,
not
Look at the
peated rye,
color
but
of
rye.
it. Look at the color.
oh yeah. and it's very reasonably priced.
$85, and it's not cask strength, but it's over 50%. So
Yeah, what is it, like 102, 104?
104, yeah.
Yep, I just looked at it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it's like $85, and they keep coming. They put them on the shelf, they sell out. They put them back on the shelf, they sell out. But
They do.
they're
consistently
available.
are.
You
They
can
go.
get one.
It
If
is
you're
available.
a regular at your store, you'll get one if you want one.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those that it's there. So it's like the Lefroy tent. They get it, they sell out. They get it, they sell out. I mean, it's there.
Yeah, but I mean, I was blown away by this guy. I mean, it's just I'm not a big rye guy. It's probably my least favorite style of whiskey. I like the scotches better, like the peated stuff, like the lightly peated stuff, I like the unpeated stuff. I like bourbon better. I like light whiskey better. I like Texas whiskey better.
Oh, that Obtainium light whiskey. Oh.
I like American single malts better. But that said, this is damn good. And I say that I have had a few. One thing I'm hoping will happen in the near future is we start getting old ryes again.
Oh,
Yeah.
We don't get old rye anymore, but we used to back in the day when I first got into whiskey. There were some 20-year-old ryes out there that were Kentucky rye, not Alberta, Canada stuff. Kentucky ryes.
Yeah, people are selling off the barrels.
I remember I remember the first bottle of 20-something. The first bottle I ever bought over 20 years old was it was bottled by Willett back in the day. It was called Kentucky Vintage. That was like the branding. And it was a 23-year-old rye. $90. $90
now.
Good Lord.
I remember it was at the time I didn't really make a lot of money, but I was working overtime. So I was working like every Saturday I worked a half day. So I was getting like about $100 extra on every paycheck, right? So I'm like, I get an extra $100. Let me kind of, I'm going to splurge with it because it's free money. So I bought that one week, and it was like 8 weeks straight. I got that. So for 8 weeks, I bought $100-ish bottle of whiskey. It was amazing. Like, cause I literally was living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, I literally was like making sure my bank account never went under like, my rent. Cause I couldn't, if I went under my rent, I didn't know what I was going to do, like, I mean, I wasn't in poverty, but I was like, we didn't have any extra. Like, and so I remember buying that bottle and just being like, oh my God, I wish I had money to buy stuff like this all the time. It's so good.
I know.
And now I'd make a lot more money. I still couldn't buy that because that's a $3,000 bottle.
Exactly. I was going to say, how much did that jump up? And you're like, yeah.
No, I'm not kidding. I looked that up once. Like, there hasn't been a bottle sold since 2016 and it went for $3,000. I was just like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. Well, we wrapping it up here in about 5 minutes so we can transition over to live wire whiskey, because I know there's people on here that want to go and torment Mike and Adam a little bit. But all in all, I want to thank Dustin for coming on and leading me down this thing. And I'm absolutely just enamored with this Peat now. It's just,
Once I found out. Go ahead, Anthony. I'm sorry.
I hate to say that I think it spoiled me until I got this, just a regular tomato, and they're like, oh my gosh, non-chill filtered and everything, and it's just oily and delicious and fruit like apples and it's just, oh my goodness, it's wonderful. So now I'm gonna have to find like the 18 and
try some Berkolotic. I mean, for the money, you're not going to spend a fortune. It's great.
He won't spend a lot for the Matt 18 either, by the way. If you haven't had that one, Whiskey Nose, that's a 18-year-old Scotch you can still get for under $100.
Which one?
Tomat 18.
Oh yeah. It's hard to find in Tennessee for some reason.
It's one of those whiskeys that like you'll find in a store that's like got dusty bottles because they picked it up years ago, and it's affordable, man. It's a good whiskey. I mean, honestly, there aren't a lot of affordable whiskeys anymore. Unfortunately.
Whiskey lovers, you're going to have to jump on one time.
Yeah, man,
You
that'd
know,
be
the
awesome.
Scotch stream and stuff like that, because besides Dustin, I think your palate is right up there to guide us down that path. So I would love to have you on. I know our times are different, but it'd be great to have you on one time.
That'd be cool.
Oh man,
It would be. I mean, he's
That's why I love doing stuff with Alan, the whiskey friend. I love Alan. I mean, we get going, and he's got me mixing shit and stuff. And Lord,
Oh yeah, almost as bad as Bourbon Battalion. I know.
And then I have to. The thing with Alan is, if you watch our streams, I'll be like, "Say that again, say that again, say that again," because it's like he goes so fast. I'm like, "Hold on, time out."
Once he gets drunk, his accent gets a little tough to understand.
It
I
gets
love
thick.
him.
Dude, what I got to do is get with Andy from 21090, because I'd love to have him on, or be able to do something with them.
Sure,
because he rolled out the carpet for me when you had him come on last week. Actually, it was 2 weeks ago, but before Christmas, and we just were kicking it and having a few drinks, and it was just a good time.
yeah.
So
I tossed a text to him while we were on the stream. Actually, yeah, just checking in because they've got a big show coming Tuesday. Yeah, 21090 guys. If you haven't subbed to 21090, please do.
Yes, absolutely. Good group of guys, or even Whiskey Lover Society. If you haven't subbed to him, you need to go over there, because it's just a wealth of knowledge. And Dustin, go ahead and give a shout out for your channel, because I know I love it. I was watching it today, as a matter of fact, because we were making a little bantering back and forth.
Drop the link, Dustin, if you can.
I don't know if I'm a sub here, so I don't know if I can. Or I'm sorry, mod, but let's see here.
You're not? I can fix it if you're not. I thought you would be.
Yeah, Sugar Kitty Bobby, land the plane already. I still crack up about that. I was talking to Shane about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's Mike and I need to update our system here, because we don't.
You're a mod now, Dustin. Right, sorry.
All good. There we go. Boom. Guys, our focus is, if you guys haven't seen it, I think most people here have, but our focus is going to be on higher end whiskeys. Not everything's ridiculous, but our focus is going to be on the higher end stuff, just because, we looked at the whiskey tube market, and reality is there's a lot of great bourbon channels. There's a lot of great Scotch channels and a lot of great whiskey channels, but they're all kind of reviewing the same, 50,
yeah,
60.
But I'll tell you what's great, brother. Dustin, I'll tell you what's great about it is it may be top shelf stuff, and it may be hard to find. It may be expensive, but when your opportunity arises that you have the opportunity to buy that bottle, as in us, we can go back and see what you all thought about it. Was it worth it or pass?
Yeah.
That's the main thing about it.
That's why we did it, man. Like, that was legit. Like, Mike and I are looking at what we're drinking, and we're like, the other thing we were talking about it, and it's like, hey, man, I only can get up to, it's an hour and a half for me to drive up to Mike's house. So when we get together, we're not drinking good whiskeys, because that's boring. Like,
Charles,
I got to drive 3 hours. Charles. Hey, buddy, we did Aaron 10-year-old. We did a review.
Wait a minute.
Of that.
They had Remus 5 on there today. Come on.
Yeah. We had Remus 5 versus the St. Nick.
Very old St. Nick. Yeah. That's right. $400. Come on.
Yeah, we compared that to this guy right here.
That's right.
Let me tell you, it's a great bourbon. Not for that $400. But it's that's what we do. That's why we have a lot of fun doing it, and that's what we're all about, man.
It's great. Yeah, keep doing it, man. Keep doing it. It helps us all.
Besides Whiskey Lovers Society, you got Top Shelf, you got us here. That's what makes this community great. I mean, I have text Marty, I have text Bourbon, I have text Mike Stahl from Live Bar Whiskey, I have text Mr. Whiskey Shits Adam. Hey, what about this? What about that? This, that, and the other. But that's one of the good things. And even everybody here in chat, we talk. What's this price? What's that price? what is it on the East Coast? What is it on the West Coast? So we can determine what's an acceptable price, because we all can't get everything at MSRP. We would love to, but just because of the market and how it is, and each state is different, we have to come up with a price that we're willing to pay. And like one of the things that Dustin was saying on his stream today, or excuse me, his review today, what he was willing to pay for something. And that's the bottom line. What are you willing to pay? I don't care if you want to overpay by $300 for a bottle. That's fine. I wouldn't do it. But if that's something you want and you want that experience, then you experience it. It's your money. You go and you all do that. Marty might, Dustin might not go. Yeah, it's just too much. It's too much. But we've all talked about it. Hey, maybe a good whiskey bar that has great bourbons, that has great American whiskeys, Canadian whiskeys, scotches that you can go, yeah, you might spend $30, $40, $50 for a pour, but you can experience that versus the $300, $500, $1,000 for a bottle and say, yeah, I tasted it. And you know what? I'm going to save up and get it. Or shit, I'm glad I only spent $50 because I would have.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something right now.
Yeah.
On my Instagram page, me and Kevin spent $120 on 2 pours of 2021 William LaRue Weller. I wouldn't buy it. I pay MSRP, but more than $250. Nope, it wasn't that good. In my opinion.
Yeah,
it missed. It really missed. This year's bottle missed.
That's surprising because I know Mash and Drum was pretty high on it. But he loves William LaRue Weller more than even most bourbon fanatics do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's got a bias towards it. But
out of George, even though it wasn't available this year, I think I was telling Kevin, I think George T. Stagg was better.
I'm a Stagg fanboy. I love that. That's the one Buffalo Trace bourbon I'd actually probably pay some stupid money for just because it's so good.
Yeah, I would too.
James, you'll probably see us all lurking on Livewire, guaranteed, because that's what we're going to break and go over because they just started here. But it's okay. Mike's still getting everyone rounded up and saying hello.
I'm sure it's like herding cats when they start the lives.
Exactly. It always is.
There's a video I wish we'd been able to film. So what people don't know is that Mike's boss is a huge bourbon aficionado. Like he has a collection that's rivals Mash and Drums. Like I find a bourbon he likes and he's like, you can get more? Yeah, I'll take 3. They're $200 a piece. 3. All right, cool. I'll grab you 3. I'll bring it up to you next time I'm up there.
That'll help your points.
Oh yeah, don't trust me. I go to my point stores when I do that.
That's right.
So we got together one day and we poured King Kentucky, the William Heaven Hill 12-year, the cast strength one, which is epic, by the way. If you ever get a chance to try that whiskey at a bar or something, I don't care that it's a 12-year-old bourbon. You should pay 30-year-old bourbon prices, whatever the craziness is. It's amazing. And we had the 2019 William LaRue Weller. So we poured all 3 of them. And it was incredible watching the 3 of us just kind of go through those 3 whiskeys. And the funny thing was all 3 of us just basically went nosed them all and said, okay, King Kentucky wins. Let's just focus on these 2. Every one of us had the same thought. We just smelled it. We're like, okay, this is at a different level. All right. William Heaven Hill versus WLW. Which one's better? And I'll tell you what, man. WLW is good, but I took the William Heaven Hill as my number 2.
But again, taste is extremely, extremely subjective. So it's what you like. And just earlier, if I remember correctly, when you were on Lagavulin, at first it wasn't hitting right. But then as you got into it, boom, it was like, wow, okay, yeah, this is all right. This is all right. And then it opened up for you. But you don't know how your palate's going to react to different things. So sometimes you have to change to find something that will work with you today. So,
Yeah.
Well,
and we have really good whiskeys that are expensive. The reason why I always recommend you try something first, it can be expensive, but it can't be like one of your like babies. Is if it doesn't hit right, then don't drink one of your babies. Baby's got to stay in the other room.
Yeah,
don't touch those.
Let it sleep, man. Let it sleep.
Yeah, you're not having a good tasting day. Don't go drink one of those really good ones. Drink a good whiskey. Don't drink one of your special ones.
Exactly. All right, people. Well, it's been a great stream. We're going to wrap it up. Hell, you all go over to Livewire Whiskey. Tell them that Bourbon Neophyte had sent you over, and then let's continue this party. And while we're here, we're just going to raise our glass. I just want to say cheers, everyone. Thanks, Dustin. Thanks, Marty, for popping on. Thanks to all of you in chat for making this a great stream and being Peat curious today.
Absolutely.
See you all over at Livewire Whiskey, everybody.
Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year. See you all here soon.
Cheers.